Hello. Oh god, that was so loud. I'm so sorry, guys. Hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. We are getting started with the audio commentary today because we haven't had one of these in a while. And the studio is here with us. As you guys can see, we have a couple goos here with us, little guest appearances, little cameos. And you can see their names down below, obviously. Luckily we have names there. But yeah. If you guys don't know the team, you guys should introduce yourselves. We have here, of course, not just the animators this time, but the entire team. We have effects artist, render, character artist, writer, animator, music, sound, and me, I guess. But yeah, all right, let's introduce ourselves. Cody, go ahead and go first. You're on the very left. Cody, you do a lot of stuff. What do you do? Yeah, render tech. Yeah, so Cody does effects first and foremost as like the big sort of visual artistic thing, but he handles so many things behind the scenes. Oh, hang on one sec. Can you guys hear Cody now? Wait.
Oh, can you hear me now?
There we go. Thank God we have these animated goos so that you guys actually know these supposed to be talking.
Okay, yeah, they can hear.
We're good. We're good. Okay, that was my bad. I had the volume turned off because we were muted earlier. But yeah, yeah. So Cody mentioned he does effects and render tech and pipeline stuff and development stuff for custom tools. Yeah. So he's a bit of a genius. We do a lot of things behind the scenes that like honestly goes underappreciated. I used to do all that stuff. Cody has helped a ton with that, and the finaling process is something we'll probably get into later today as well. But yeah, that's Cody. Everybody, round of applause. Okay, yeah, great. Okay, cool. Ruki, do you want to introduce yourself? What do you do? I'm sure there's a long list.
I am the red one.
All right, and we'll move on. No, Ruki is primarily
the red one.
The red one, and then secondarily to that, she's also the character artist who is in charge of all the magic behind what makes Emily and all the other characters look so good. And not only is she a character artist, but she also does she did help out with writing this time, which was cool. She also did, I mean, on top of doing the character modeling, there's also like the shading, which is huge, the line art, which is huge. I mean, these are things that are like take a lot of finessing to get right. And she did a fantastic job with it. And she also did compositing this time around too, which is cool. Yeah, and
thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. What else? There's more. I know there's more. Oh,
Just miscellaneous stuff. I'm the janitor.
Yeah, you also did effects and backgrounds. So yeah, she did a lot. She also did concept art. Yeah. So yeah, that's Ruki. Anyway, she's also the red one.
Yeah, the red one.
Yeah, if I could sum it up in one word, that would say red one for sure. And then we have Shane. Shane, you want to introduce yourself as well?
Hey, I'm Shane.
All right, so
oh, I just hit the mic. Yeah, so sometimes I do animation and sometimes music or sound design.
Yes, which is saved us so many times. Shane, obviously amazing animator and also incredibly talented audio engineer because he did all the sound design, all the sound and music for Emily. I did like 1% of that. He did everything else. And it sounds amazing. It's really well done. I think the sound design is impeccable. So we are, yeah, I mean, we are well equipped with a lot of people who do a lot of things. Yeah, and so that's Shane. Shane, it's everybody, right? Yep. Okay, great. And then we can't clap like in real life because the mic like breaks everything. Anyway, Soranin. Yeah, we also don't have arms.
Before.
Yeah.
Without my arms, it was.
Yeah, we need a wobble animation.
That's true. Actually, that would be great. Oh, hey, somebody clapped for us. We got an applause from Cleago.
Thank you, Cleago.
Hey.
Real one.
Bow. Soranin, what do you do? Who are you?
Who am I? I ask myself every day, man.
Yeah.
Lavender one.
Yeah, the lavender
I thought
one.
you were
The
lilac.
lilac one.
You're lilac. Yeah.
Get it right.
Same difference.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Says the color artist. Okay.
It's a soft purple.
You said it wasn't purple. You said it 5 minutes ago. She said it wasn't purple. It was lilac. I just want to put that on the
It's only not
Yeah.
okay when I say it, apparently.
Lilac is a specific purple. It is
Okay.
a pale purplish color that is very girlish, which is why
It's
I
my
said
favorite
it.
smell.
That's
That's lovely.
that's fair.
Thanks, Psychic. You got me.
That's why Shane's next to Soranin, because he likes to smell.
Yeah, she smells nice.
So he's like staring at his
Constantly
little...
sniffing him.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It's fine. Sorry,
But
just
yeah.
don't look back. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so for the studio, I think my main responsibilities are just rigging the characters and animation, and most recently, like I've just been helping out with like storyboarding and like action direction and stuff like that.
Yes, and so good at it too. There's something we're working on right now that is looking real nice, and I can't show you guys or talk to you guys about it, but it's fine. It's fine. The pain of NDA. But yeah, we have a lot of. Soranin's been helping out with a lot of stuff. The rigging is a big part of it, but he's also been lead animator and doing a lot of cool stuff with the fights and leading the storyboards and a lot of team stuff that helps organize. We're doing dailies now. He's giving feedback, and he's just really really talented animator. If you guys haven't seen his stuff, go subscribe to him on Twitter and follow on YouTube. But yeah, cool. So that's Soranin and Ramen. We got a clap. Oh, hang on, we got a clap. Okay, we gotta wait for the clap to subside. Thank you. Round of applause.
So Dylan,
Yes.
Magnificent points out that we all look the same. Funny that, hey,
Yeah.
that we all look the same. We wouldn't all have liked to have a ball on our heads.
No. I mean, it's too bad that the hat doesn't actually change anything. It's just you guys are
It
still.
does. It makes him look cooler.
I am different.
Yes, you are.
Basically.
So,
And therefore
Not like
better.
and therefore.
I am the main goo.
Yeah.
Me.
True, actually.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Actually, your positioning is right next to Dylan.
He's the goo protagonist. That's true.
He's the favorite child.
His favorite.
All right, Ramen, different one. Who are you?
I am the one with the bowl.
Yeah. That is a whole
I'm one of the animators. I do a lot of acting stuff. This project didn't really have too much acting stuff, but I do like
Yeah, you
a lot of
you did a fight.
facial library stuff. Yeah, I did a fight scene. That was kind of rare.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Ramen.
I made him do it.
He did. That's true. Yeah, Soranin has a Twitter. You should follow him on Twitter. It's great. Yeah, it's like Soranin 442. Anyway, it's a number.
True, you're correct.
Yeah, the Ramen was actually one of our first animators to join the studio, which was really cool. So if you guys haven't seen Ramen stuff, check him out too. But yeah, he's been around for a long time. And a clap.
Hello.
Yeah.
I am the eldest son.
Yes, it's true actually, and that's why he gets a bowl. Now none of you guys can.
I guess
complain.
Kai is the eldest son.
He is. Kai is the eldest, but he's not here. Yeah. Kai got a ponytail, so he's yeah, he's also in that.
He's also special.
I mean, he's just got a ponytail. It's just like, I'm not saying yes or no, but anyway. So yeah, that's the team. I'm also a person, but you guys don't really care or know about me, so that's fine. But yeah, so this project was a big sort of step up from what we've really been doing in the past, where we really wanted to try to get something that was like as close to our like end goal aesthetic as possible within the time that we had. It was a pretty fast turnaround. We technically finished the animation in like 3 weeks, I think it was, right? It's like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2.5.
Yeah.
Which was crazy because we only really had like arguably like 3 animators, because we had like I wasn't really there because I had to work on a bunch of other stuff, and then
You were at cons too.
yeah, oh god, I was at cons. Yeah, I think I got COVID. Is that when I got COVID?
Was that when? I have no idea.
That might have been when I got COVID. But I wasn't able to animate too much on this one. So Soranin hard carried like the fight at the beginning and a couple other things. And then Shane helped out, and Ramen helped out, and Brandon helped out. Who's not here right now, but he helped out. And that was it. And like technically Ramen and Brandon are part-time, so we didn't really have a whole lot of animators, and yet we got a lot done in a really short amount of time. And yeah, well, we'll talk about that more in a bit, but basically this project was, I think, really cool. It's a big step up from what we've done. It's a huge accomplishment for the pipeline and the team as a whole. It's also technically the first time we've animated like one of Ruki's full characters, technically, right? I mean, besides Callisto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Callisto was also a lot of fun. Which, by the way, a lot of people love Callisto. So you know what? This is just an aside. in the Gu engine sizzle reel, like consistently, like when people would keep posting timestamps, and it's the same timestamp. It's like who's that character?
Yeah, probably because you've posted it and then just never ever clarified in any way what it is.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's also true.
Well, I mean, I just think no matter like how cool the animations are, it'll just never stand up to the power of a cute anime girl. Like it just won't happen.
You're right. That's true.
I agree, and that's why I am better than animators. Just kidding. I don't actually know anything about animation, and I'm terrified of you all.
Yeah, we're just gonna. I mean, just make a cute model, and it elevates all of us. It's easy. It's easy.
Yeah, but you're the ones that make it look alive.
That's true. We do make
I can only render pretty angles.
Yeah.
Boring static angles doing nothing.
They're not boring. That render that you did for Emily on Twitter was so gorgeous. Oh man.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Wait, I just want to pull it up. Hang on. Let's see if we can pull it up. We're gonna watch the video soon, guys. Don't worry. Totally. Hang on. I'm not distracted. You're distracted. But yeah, this video. What are we doing? We're gonna watch a video about cats. Hang on 1 sec. That's not what I'm saying. All right, check this out, guys. Check. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that.
This is the only video without cats.
Yeah, actually. Now that you mention it, couldn't be less accurate. But yeah. Anyway, that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, this is gorgeous. This is 3D. I mean, there's a little bit of post processing on this, right?
Yes.
But it's basically 3D.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
And actually, if anyone's curious, the background was generated with Stable Diffusion.
That's pretty cool. Look at that.
The hair highlights are. How did you do was the hair highlights just all the shader?
Oh no, the hair highlights, I painted those.
Yeah, those are painted.
I feel like that's like one of the hardest things to do. That's
It
what
is.
it seems like anyway.
For sure.
Yeah, I want to update the. I didn't get a chance to improve the hair shader.
Oh my god.
Hair highlight shader I made.
It's already really
for,
good though.
that one.
Like, cause I don't know if you guys know this, but like for Emily,
Yes, it's all done in Gu engine.
yeah, it is Gu engine.
Sorry.
No, yeah, you're good. The hair shader for Emily was actually done in was done dynamically this time around. So like
Yes.
in the past we've done you know, we're probably getting too much into it before you actually watch the video. Let's watch the video and then we'll talk about the hair highlights. But okay, we're gonna watch it one time through, and then we're gonna go back through and just sort of pause the video and talk about certain things. How does that sound to you guys?
Let's do it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so enthusiastic.
Sick. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's get it.
Malware detected. Quarantine failed. Deploy antivirus protocol. Virus attack pattern successfully duplicated. Antivirus protocol fully engaged. Executing malware threat.
Ah,
Dun, dun, dun.
Da, 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 da.
Mm.
Yes. So that was the video. It's a pretty short video. It's technically 1 minute. I mean, it's 1 minute and 20 seconds or so. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think oh, we got an applause. Oh, thank you, Cactus. Thank you. Well deserved applause, honestly. First of all, shout out to Ruki for the comp. Yes, the compositing, because it looks super pretty.
Just the sprinkles. I just sprinkled sprinkles on top.
Yeah, pretty much. And it works so well. And yeah, so let's talk about that.
Cody did actually all the work, putting it together, rendering
She
it.
animated it too. It was all her.
Yeah, true. Yeah, honestly, let's talk about a couple things, because there's literally so much to talk about. I'm gonna finish up my thought about the hair highlights first, because there's a couple of things in here I think we could probably see it in. Let's see, there's a couple shots here. Yeah, right here. So like right here, you can see the hair highlights on her head right there, and that is all dynamic. So it's using the camera angle essentially to calculate the hair highlights, and will not draw them in sort of like the edges or like the weird spots. What we used to do with the hair highlights was actually almost totally manual. It was like using meshes, right, that just like you draw on there essentially, that like there's on top of the hair. In fact, they're completely static. If you look at my hair on the VTuber, that's sort of the similar technique that we used before. Like on Callisto, for example, it was basically just like a little extra mesh that was on top of the hair. And yeah, but this time around, it's all done with math, right?
Yes, the thing that no one likes.
Yeah.
That I didn't like before I learned it.
Math.
Yeah, I'm just opening the file so I can explain in English what's actually happening, and not camera vectors magic do this.
Nah, English. Who cares about English? Yeah, it is really cool.
Don't correct me. I'm Australian. We say maths.
Multiple maths.
That's true. All the maths.
Mathematics. Maths.
Nah,
Huh?
just mathematics.
Yeah?
Only one.
Math
only one math.
mathematic.
Mathematics. Yeah.
All right, I'm just hair highlights is. Let me see what I'm doing in here, because I haven't looked at this for a while. Oh yeah, weird things.
Just weird things.
Just some weird things.
You guys ever make a ton of nodes and then you go back, like even a few days later, it's like what is going on? What is my thought process?
No, I actively avoid nodes like my life depends on it.
Maybe I should also do that.
Yeah.
I have that with my files though, for sure.
That's so interesting. Because I use nodes all the time. I forgot that like animators don't have to touch them at all.
Yeah, not me though.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Oh man.
Oh, I see what I'm doing. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all it's doing, it's actually, so it's using the Fresnel.
Yeah, for now. Okay, I thought it was something.
It's
like
just using that as a mask. It's so if you imagine the highlights are already there.
Okay.
So they're not changing shape. They already exist there. So if you unmasked it, you would see a ring of them around the head.
Got it.
All the mask is doing, because it's Fresnel, it's related to it. It'll change based on how the camera's looking at it. It's always changing. It's always a highlight on the rim, which I invert, so it's a shaded around the rim, and then yeah, it looks dynamic.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a pretty simple effect, but it works really well.
Yeah, it's super simple.
That's cool. Yeah. So there's the hair highlights. There you go. Let's talk about the general production stuff. But before we do that, I think the biggest thing that people are probably curious about, because it is an animation, is how we did the animation. So I think one thing that people are probably curious about, if you guys have any questions specifically, feel free to let me know in the chat. But I think we should talk about Soranin's fight scene and how the heck you came up with that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to know this.
Yeah, let's watch it again real quick. Hang on. It's this part right here. So that was incredible. Yeah, that was really good. And Soranin, how did you do that?
How did I do that?
How did you do that?
Yes, Soranin. How'd you do that?
Hey, come on, Ricky, don't do this to me right now.
Recite the steps.
It was all pure mocap.
Oh my god.
It was all. I just had Shane mocap it for me.
Yeah,
originally.
Yeah, he just did it himself. Just in real life, he did all this easy.
Yeah. So I'm that smear right there. That's all me.
Actually, though, that was you technically, right?
Yeah, the smears in the beginning are grease pencil. So this, the trail in this first cut is grease pencil, and then after that, it's mesh trails.
Yep. Yeah, we can talk about that in a little bit as well for the effects. But don't try to weasel your way out of this animation thing. Well, how'd you?
No, I mean, the thing that I started with was just like the choreography. So I just sort of had the idea in my head that it'd be really cool if like the character before the camera move here, like at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
She's like sort of in the top, I guess like third, like aligned with the rule of thirds. She's like in that area, and then I just wanted to. I had that idea of her like zipping through two enemies.
Okay.
So there's actually like not that much animation involved in that part because it's mostly just like a smear through the two characters.
Yeah, Emily's not even in this.
Yeah,
she's just not in these frames at all. Like, did you like?
She's just like she's under the floor.
Yeah. You pulled her out of the frame basically. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
How do you plan it? Do you see it play out in your head before you draw it down, or you have the idea and then as you draw it, it sort of takes shape?
So this first part I had in my head.
Okay.
And then there's the second part that was more like choreography based that I sort of had to like get up and I guess like just.
Oh, so you physically sort of play it out?
Yeah, I physically sort of play it, and I also have like action figure of Goku that I'll use. Like,
that's so cool.
Nice.
Yeah. I think with this shot specifically, it was inspired by there's one shot in Boruto episode 65 by Weilin Zhang. I think if you know that anime, you probably know what shot I'm talking about. But that shot in particular, since it's a wide shot like this, it uses a lot of like left-right movement in the frame, and that's like sort of where the dynamism comes from. So I wanted to sort of invoke like that sort of thing. So when I was choreographing this, like I actually focused a lot less on the actual movements, like, oh, should she like punch here or kick here? And I was like, no, I just want her to go to the left, and I want her to go to the right, and I want to go to the left again.
Yes.
So that was like the energy of it, the forward momentum you were following, more so than the details. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like you can sort of imagine it if you wanted to like sort of study this animation or Wayland's animation, you could sort of just draw a ball around the characters, and you could sort of see like,
oh yes,
like you see when she dashes left, it's like the ball stretching, and then
like bouncing and stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, it goes back to like the whole like everything's a bouncing ball kind of thing.
Center of energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
And yeah, it was really interesting, like blocking it out. I actually have the blocking if you want us. I can stream it, or I also post it on Twitter if you want.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be cool if we could show your blocking because you do it in the, like we talked earlier. You mentioned it was like a 2D. You have 2D in mind when you do it.
That's what I was gonna go into.
Oh, that's cool. Wait, when we put it up on Twitter, because I think the frame rate would be good.
I can send you the video. Let me see.
The video? Like on Discord?
The play blast of it.
Yeah. That'd be good too. That way I can frame through it if I need to.
Yeah.
Sick. I also found the Twitter post. I'll get that in a bit. But
okay.
Yeah, let me put this on keyframe MP real quick and let's play it through. Okay.
Yeah. This the movements in here were really interesting because there was a lot of like cheating, I guess, like specifically in the second part when you know the character's moving back and forth really fast. I didn't know how to do some of it, so I just sort of like I had a lot of like random one frame transitions.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fine.
Even that like already looks incredible, and I would watch that just how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Shane was saying something
insane.
Like, I forgot
It looks
what
so
you
good. It looks good. It's like,
I know, it looks amazing.
it'd be cool to see something in this style because it's like not just
it's like
typical blocking. It it's animated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah. And so I was telling Shane earlier that I think because I take just so much inspiration from like Japanese animation, and like I mostly study like the animators that I like that are mostly 2D. I think like when I'm blocking, it's mostly just like, oh, I'm just sort of like doing 2D animation, and then I just make it smooth after that.
Yeah.
So cool.
That is really
So
cool.
as I explained it on Twitter a little bit, but because I block so heavily, I actually don't have to deal with the issue that some animators have to deal with, where like when you go to spline, it becomes really like noodly.
Yeah.
Floaty. Like I don't have to deal with that because there's like a key every 2 frames usually.
Wow.
So when you say study like Japanese animators, what do you in specific do you look for while you're watching their clips?
I mostly look for timing and poses. If I'm looking at action, if I'm looking at acting, I'm looking at like facial expressions and then probably still timing.
Okay.
And like posture and stuff like that. I can send you a picture of a clip. Someone asked me about this on Discord, so I'll send this picture.
Yeah, all the air shots, the way it hangs, it's just like it looks like it. That stands out to me.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Anime physics.
Good.
The anime physics.
You can
is
see
real.
the flip actually changed though when I went from blocking to spline. I was like, oh, this flip doesn't work anymore. Oh no.
That's fair.
Yeah, so like this.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, no. So I sent Dylan the picture, but like this picture here is like a really good pose that I noticed like watching this clip, which the account is in the picture. So if you wanted to find the tweet, you probably could.
Oh, interesting.
What's that?
Like poses like that are stuff I look for.
Okay.
And then like you could see like, okay, how does it translate from this pose to like the hit pose that she does after? Like usually there's either a really snappy transition or like the spacing can be like a lot more than you think.
Is that Kanan? What's that anime called?
I'm not sure what the anime is.
I've seen that clip before.
Oh, really?
Oh, you know what it is? Yeah.
Shane's like, I know
Is
the
this K-On?
frame. I know this frame. I've seen it.
Yeah, it's like a little known meme through people who like know me. They're like I animate a lot of action scenes, but I don't really watch like shonen or anything like that.
Yeah, you prefer slice of life stuff, which is hilarious.
I like those cute girls doing cute
You're
things. Bro.
revealing his terribly embarrassing secrets.
It's
Cute girls
saying I should
doing
be
cute
embarrassed of
things.
this? What?
He's proud.
He's proud. He's proud.
I am proud.
He's proud.
I'm glad. That's good.
Yeah, it's that.
Bochi the Rock. Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Bochi the
Watch
Rock.
Bochi the Rock.
It's been his
Best anime this season.
Bochi the Rock has been like in your Twitter profile for the past like month, and I'm like, I haven't seen it yet. I should probably watch it.
It's the best anime this season. Chainsaw Who?
Chainsaw who? Come on. Oh man.
Actually, there's a question that this is something I'm curious about because I don't think it is as simple as what they're saying. What do you think about just dropping it dropping the on twos, just dropping the frame rate?
Oh
yeah.
Can you just
something-
just drop the frame rate like that?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and my answer is absolutely not.
Yeah.
I thought this might be the case because Dylan rants all the time about it me.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because so the thing is, like when, like this is something I noticed when just like framing through like stuff on Sakugaburu, is like the way that animators will pose their characters and stuff like that. You can see like, oh, if the limb just if like the hand continues in a super smooth arc like it would in 3D because it's obviously in stepped or it's like on twos or sometimes like threes. Really good animators will use less frames. It's gonna look too like choppy. So like they'll do things like they'll either smear the hand or like the hand will just conveniently stay like around the same space in the frame. So like the poses are specifically made so that the step frames can work, and then like the timing as well. And so I just don't think that that's something that naturally carries over when you go from ones and then you just drop the frame rate. I think if you do that, like it requires a lot of manual work to edit the like baked frames anyway.
It stops you from taking advantage of the 3D environment.
What do you mean?
Is it like sort of more constrained to the 2D camera angle? It's like less so the movement itself. It's like the movement relative to what we're seeing in the 2D.
So because everything's in screen space at that point.
So you would be fighting the 3D depth and environment as well as trying to get okay.
And so I mean that's why like I'm sort of a proponent of, and that's the reasons I guess why I ended up learning blocking this way is because if I wanted to like learn from like Japanese animation, I'd had to animate like Japanese animators. So
So, I have another question for you, which is actually just Clayaga's question. Would you intentionally do that if you wanted to? Would it be? Could you just from the beginning decide I want to do this frame rate? I'm going to emulate this specifically.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Like if you looked at the Zelda animation I did, or any of the stepped animations I've done on my Twitter, like those never went into spline, like at all, ever.
Oh, you don't spline them at all? Wow.
No.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about
psychopath.
The cool thing about it being 3D though,
yeah,
is you could still use the breakdowner even if it's in stepped.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I've been doing that with the recent shots that I've been working on that I can't talk about, but like that's actually been such a huge thing because I'm just like, wow, this is actually just like I can just tween for free as a 2D animator just by using the breakdowner. Yeah, because everything's stepped and it feels like 2D when I make it, but then
you can do really easy overshoots too, because if you press E again on the breakdowner, it just breaks the 0 to 100 limit, and so you can just do like an overshoot at like 120% or 135.
Yeah,
those usually numbers I aim for.
Which you taught me, and I was like blown away by. I had no idea the breakdowner could overshoot as well. That was just like, I've been using that a lot. It's a huge thing. It's shifty, I think.
Yeah, shout out to
Shifty. I have no idea what you guys are talking about right now.
Yeah.
But, so in conclusion to Clayaga's question / the question I stole, would you do that?
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
The answer is absolutely yes. And I think if you're doing a step production, I think more animators should be encouraged to do that.
Yeah.
And what's the downside of doing it?
It just takes longer. That's the main thing.
It takes
it can
so
take
more
longer.
effort.
Well, I don't know. It can take longer, but I also feel like if you do it like on ones, like it's sort of like, okay, if you animate like 100 frames right on ones, you're animating 100 frames. Whereas if it's on twos, it's half the frames, but you also get to spend more attention on like those specific frames.
Yeah, that's true. But 100 frames in 3D is like you animate maybe like 30 of them because then you interpolate everything else. To be fair, so it's like you're using more keyframes when you do stepped. Like technically, you
can interpolate what he's describing, which is emulating a specifically chosen frame by frame 2D.
Right.
Yeah, they've drawn each one. So you're technically not taking advantage of what the computer does intentionally.
Yeah, I mean that's
for the most part. Yeah,
that's basically mixed frames. Yeah, so we would hold the frames in, and like the trick to that though is keeping it in screen space. I think that's something that Spider-Verse does.
And for anyone else here, what is screen space?
It's basically.
What do you mean by that?
So typically in 3D, the default space is world space. So like if you didn't have a camera, like you'd be moving, like 2 meters on the ground or whatever, right? And
so it's 3-dimensional space.
It's 3-dimensional space, and then screen space
relative to an origin point in the center of the world.
Correct. Yeah. Which means that when you hold a frame in world space, you're holding them in that position in world space. So like it's like if you're walking like and you froze for a second, you wouldn't move forward at all, and then like the next frame you would move like a foot forward, something like that.
Okay, so they're retaining their actual position. They're stopped on the floor, basically.
So that's default 3D world.
And how
space.
is that different to screen space?
So screen space it's the same concept, but instead of it being in world space and like parented to the floor, it's actually stuck to the camera, which means that essentially what you're doing is like you're emulating 2D, in that like when you hold a frame, you're not holding it on the floor, you're holding it relative to the camera's view. So like it'll be the same distance from the edge of the frame, for example, rather than the same distance from the origin. Yeah.
So you could be still on the floor, but that doesn't matter because it's where you are relative to the camera. The camera could be moving around, and the fact that you are still on the floor means you're pinging around in the actual imaginary 3D space.
Correct.
But because you are relative to the camera, you look like you aren't moving whatsoever.
Yes, exactly. You usually, so like the best situation, the ideal situation that you want to replicate is essentially like in 2D, they have a lot of times where they have scrolling backgrounds, and those are usually like paintings that they like scroll in digital space. And then like they'll animate on twos on top of that. And so the thing is like when they animate on twos, like when you're drawing and holding a frame in 2D, that frame is held relative to like the size of the paper or like the size of the the picture of the cell that you're taking a picture of for anime. Which means that the background's still moving in 24 FPS, but the characters are not. And so when they stay still in screen space, they're actually sliding across the background. It's like you might see like feet sliding or like, you know, something like that. But that's what you want for 2D, which is very different than, you know, what 3D typically wants. They think feet sliding is evil, which is technically true. But in this case, you're actually sliding the character across the background intentionally, as if it's like detached.
If we think of it in layers of like animation cells, you have a long background that you're scrolling, and the character is on top of it.
Yeah.
Technically, the character is they're still, or
yes, they would be still for those particular.
So
frames.
they could either be themselves moving along on top of the background, or they could be still and the background is moving.
Yes, pretty much.
Because it is 2D, which is what they mean by screen space.
Yeah, screen space being, of course,
all that matters. Yeah. So all that matters is what the camera sees. You're tricking it.
Yeah, and the specific name for screen space comes from the fact that like the screen space axes are the X and Y axes of the camera. So like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 2-dimensional.
It's 2-dimensional. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. These are very good questions.
Yeah, this is where the thinking or animate in 3D, think in 2D quote kind of originates from.
Yeah.
I also don't know some of the things. I don't know what Dillon ever means. So I'm making him explain.
I make sense. I make sense. I know I do. I promise.
I know nothing about animation. What you guys were just talking about a breakdown. I'm meant to know.
Yeah, that's fair. No, it's a good question. These are all really good questions. Yeah, and like Spider-Verse was.
So how would you summarize it for anyone who's struggling still? What is 3D? What is world space? And what is screen space?
World space is like real life. Screen space is like paper. That's basically it.
World space is 3 dimensions, like the real life. Screen space is 2 dimensions.
Yeah.
She explains it better than we do, honestly.
Yeah. Honestly, I have no idea even.
It'd be like layout, right?
Yeah, like layout. I don't know.
Yeah, Dillon doesn't get excited. I know what he means, but I know that other people have no idea what he's talking about, and he has no idea that no one has no idea what he's talking about.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I was pretty clear. No, okay, fair. Anyway,
how you would fake depth from screen space is to make something smaller.
Yeah.
Because you can't move it backwards because it's not in 3D.
Technically, no. I mean, because we're working in 3D, we can. In 2D, they would scale it down. In 3D,
yes, but we're talking about screen space right now.
Yes, we are.
If we were faking,
but that's the thing.
3D.
In 3D, you can parent the camera, so you can parent the character to the camera, and then you can drag them around in 3D space relative to the camera. So we actually have a Z-axis that 2D artists don't have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So ignore all of that, Dillon. Screen space, as if we were drawing on paper, lacks the 3D axis. It lacks the depth axis.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
It does. Yeah.
So you would make things bigger and smaller. And that's why, as 3D animators, you guys like the depth axis and want to use it.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to Depth, bro.
Yeah, depth, best boy. Yeah. Good old Z-axis.
Why is it so helpful? Because you don't have to put the effort in to make things bigger and smaller.
Yeah, well,
and fake that.
It's just really interesting because like I can still do a lot of 3D camera movements like pretty easily.
Exactly.
Even if I were to do like a completely step style, it's actually very easy to do camera movements because it is done in a 3D software.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think mostly just when I'm doing this kind of blocking and stuff, or just like animating in this style, I'm just very conscious about screen space and like screen silhouette and the spacing between like sort of like, let's say like the edge of the head on one frame and then like where that moves on another frame. I'm like sort of imagining an onion skin in my head.
Yeah, because what you have here looks okay. Stefan, that can be the next question. What you have here right now looks like natural to me in that if these were 2D figures, it would look 2D to me, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So you think it's enough just to have an awareness of the difference and what you're taking advantage of?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not necessary to limit yourself, but to just have the understanding of the difference and what your choices are intentional, basically.
Yeah, every pose is intentional, and every the spacing between everything is intentional. The timing that I choose is intentional. It even goes down to like like if I choose to hold like a pose for 2 frames or 3 frames or 4 frames, like that's intentional as well.
Yeah. And so this animation looks like, in my uneducated words, looks choppy. So is that related to what step animation is?
Yes,
What
because
steps are?
Yeah, so like as Ramen said, like step animation means there isn't like interpolation between the poses. I think
Okay.
like colloquially in 3D it basically just means animation that's not on ones.
Okay, so if you think of a staircase, the steps like that, what the computer does is have a straight line up the staircase instead of all the bumps,
Yeah,
which make it look choppy.
it's just straight from one pose to like the next pose.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like any frames in between those 2 poses will just be like static.
Cool. So it's like
Yeah.
it's like you are on an elevator instead of walking up a staircase. You're just zooming
It's
up.
actually the other way around, I would say.
What do you mean?
Well, just because an elevator is sort of like a smooth ride upwards, whereas a staircase has like
Yes.
specific thresholds. So like
Yes.
yeah,
So the staircase is the stepped animation
Yeah.
analogy,
mhm.
and the elevator is not the analogy of interpolation.
Elevator would be basically the analogy of interpolation because you're going
Yeah.
smoothly.
So that's how I'm using it here.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
So for anyone who's never done animation before and has no idea what any of these guys are talking about,
Yes.
a stepped animation means you are walking up the staircase, you're doing each thing individually, and in the end you play it out and it looks choppy. Whereas the computer will smooth it for you like you're going up an escalator.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
There's a lot of technical terms that I think we all forget.
That's true.
Not everyone knows.
It's true.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. Man.
One of these days we'll do like a detailed like workshop or something.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I think people would enjoy that.
Yeah. It would be good. So aside from the animation itself, we have a couple other shots that we could probably talk about too, but like we also have another choreo bit technically, right? And that was Ramen shot later on. Let me just play this. Hang on, let me just share the right screen. There we go. So as we go a little later in the video, we have this shot here. Look at that. Okay.
Oh my god, I lost.
That was sick. that was sick. Ramen, do you want to talk about this shot for a little bit as well? Interestingly enough, as just a sort of segue from the previous one, Ramen, you don't animate in twos. You don't animate in step. This is fully on ones, and a very different workflow. So I'm kind of curious to see how your workflow contrasts with Soranin's. But
yes, I want to know too.
yeah.
Tell us your secrets.
So I feel like for animation, there's a bunch of different ways to work. You can animate like a 2D animator like Soranin, or you can abuse the crap out of a computer and just use the interpolations as they are.
Yeah.
That sounds like what I would do. So I'm curious about this because I'm lazy.
Yeah. So essentially what I do is I take the main control that moves like the character around. And then I only animate that control for the initial like first pass, just to get like the speed and the timing of everything done.
And
then
that's like the torso or the.
So you're watching it. Oh, the whole body.
Yeah. Are you using the root bone or the torso bone for that?
Just the torso bone. So like the thing that controls the upper torso from the hips up.
Right. Okay. So you.
But it moves the whole character.
No, only the upper torso, or like anything from the hips up. All the legs will just like chill.
So you're watching the upper torso of.
Layered?
So this one I did like a bit of mixed. I did like layered, then I did like the stepped on top of it.
That's wild to me. That's crazy.
Because like I wanted to figure out like where she was jumping around in the frame.
Right.
Oh, okay. So setting up, you're only moving her torso, so it's like pinging around.
It's like center. It's like center of mass first, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a reason to do that instead of the whole body?
So I like doing that because I can focus on where she's going more. If I move the like entire root control, then it kind of gets distracting of like because she's just floating around in like a T-pose or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can isolate my vision specifically on where her hips are.
Yes, that makes
sense.
sense.
And the orientation of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can feel the energy too. So that's actually kind of similar to what Soranin was saying about the ball. Like there is an energy there where the character's mass is moving around, and moving just the moving just the torso is sort of like a shortcut to that. So you can kind of see where she's moving and how her mass is moving across the screen and how it's going to fill the screen more accurately.
Whereas seeing the whole body just pinging around, it's like there's absolutely no mass.
Yeah, there's also a lot of distraction too, because like the limbs will sort of be like, you know, I don't know, doing whatever and stuff like that. But yeah, it's like it's nice that you can at least rotate her and sort of like figure out, because rotation is also a big part of energy, especially because it's a long torso, so you can kind of see if it's like if she's shooting forward and that's sort of like a stretch, or if she's like going against the grain and then like that's sort of like a squash, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I can imagine the difference in that you're sort of seeing the tension.
Yeah, exactly.
That you couldn't see if you were just purely working out what her position and speed is.
Yes, precisely.
I think I animate all the jumping before any of the actual hits. Yeah. So like I'll have like I think I had some rough poses I had in my head. So I like blocked those out, but like for the actual energy of the scene, I would traditionally just start not with the character. I would just animate like a cube or a ball and just constrain the character to that ball afterwards. Then do all the poses after.
Oh, like a previous like ball or block, yeah.
Did you actually use a ball for this one?
Not this one, but most of my other shots I do, because this one was very specific in like how she had to be posed.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one was interesting because Soranin, I think the clip he referenced was something from Hyun in the one versus many video he did.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
I think I got it up right now. Share screen. Hyun.
We love Hyun, bro. An inspiration.
Shout out to Hyun.
Hyun is bae. For those guys who don't know, Hyun is from Hyun's dojo. He's the Hyun's dojo guy, stick figure community. All right, show me. Oh, this one. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Classic one versus many.
Yeah, Soranin showed me this. I was like, I think I could do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. You did do that. you did it quite well. Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome. God, I love this.
Yeah.
So what is the thing you're seeing that you're taking inspiration from when you see this? Is it like the movement, the motion, or like the idea of someone hitting things, or all of it?
Kind of all of it. More so like the general like action of the shot. So like he's going left to right, the background swing like past him, and he's just mauling through a bunch of people.
So it's like the feeling of it almost.
Yeah, exactly. So like I wanted the feeling of just one dude going from left to right, just attacking anything and everything dies.
Yeah.
If it gets in the way.
There's also a specific rhythm to it. It's not obviously like Ramen's is not exactly the same, but the rhythm is got like this like sort of 16th like 8th kind of thing where you kind of group certain attacks together. You have like pauses in between.
Are you talking about like a music rhythm?
Yeah. So like
yeah,
the rhythm behind the attacks is kind of particular to these kinds of shots. You don't want to have too many attacks at once. Like you don't want that to be confused, right? So you don't want to have like 2 or 3 guys dying with one stroke without that being clear, because you only have a few frames to work with. So like those kinds of things, you know, I think are also really important to glean from this particular kind of animation, which I assume.
Okay, so
Ramen also.
sorry, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
It's just For that, can you like hum the rhythm that you see from this to maybe give us a better idea?
Yeah. I don't know if it's timed right, but it should be fine.
That's fine. Just to get an idea of what you mean by what you're saying.
So this is like dun 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 dun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, I can see it when you do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got that yeah.
I can't. So I'm, as someone who's not an animator, I can't actually, when you're describing it to me just before, I have no idea what you're saying. But when you do that, then I can understand.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rhythm is
sometimes
a big part of choreo. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes when I'm like planning out a choreo and I have like, like the time range or whatever, sometimes I'll just let the thing play and I'll just like make markers on a beat, like how I see it. I'm like,
that's
okay,
cool. So that's like freestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it goes into what like Gachapon is saying, which I guess for Ramen, like did you animate your shot pose to pose or straight ahead? Like, how would you say you did it?
So it's a bit of both, which is like a cop-out answer.
What's the difference? What's the difference between them?
So pose to pose is animating like you have one start pose, and then you have one end pose, and you're figuring out the middles afterwards. Straight ahead is that you just start from 0 and you start from the first pose and you just keep adding more poses until the animation's finished. There's like rarely do you go backwards.
So the analogy, like if you're jumping across a building, like pose to pose would be like you have the start pose before the jump, and then you have on the other side of the building after the jump, and then you fill it in.
Okay, so you know where it starts and you know where it ends, and then you're figuring out what's in between.
Yes.
But straight ahead is you know where it starts and you're figuring it out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where it'll end up somewhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pose to pose is like traditionally more of a planning workflow, where straight ahead is more of like you go by the feel. The shot I did was a bit of both, where I wanted to get the feel down. That's why I did like the energy with the hips first. Then the pose to pose part came in afterwards, where I wanted to figure out all the limbs after.
And is that would that be like part of the beauty of 3D, that you can work in that non-linear way?
Yes, it's very hard to do this in 2D because you'd have to like draw each part of the body independently of each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
You could be insane. You could be insane and animate like road sign.
Yeah, road sign does that.
My God.
Whereas most people who draw know that you shouldn't really do a drawing in disconnected pieces.
Yeah.
It should be done built up all at once.
Yes.
So yeah, it's neat.
Yeah. So this was technically all straight ahead. Technically.
That is so
Pretty
cool.
much, yeah.
That's really cool.
So you're like doing a guitar solo.
That's true.
Whereas
yes.
you're not planning an orchestral quartet.
Yeah. You go by the feeling.
That's so good.
Yeah. I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah. Was there anything like that you specifically wanted to elicit, like any sort of, I don't know, feeling that you were going for, other than obviously referencing Hyun's amazing animation? Was there like a feeling of like the rhythm that you liked about it? I don't know, because I noticed some really cool things about it. Like for example, at the beginning, I love this pause that you have. So she does the first one, and then she has this great pose in mid-air where she's basically flying very skillfully through the air, already prepared for her next attack. And I thought that was a really cool moment. I was wondering if you had like an inspiration for that.
Oh, so my main planning for this before I like actually opened Blender was I took a piece of paper and I drew a bunch of straight lines of like a DDR pad.
What? Wait, what? This is the first time I'm hearing about this. What do you mean you played DDR on a piece of paper to plan a fight animation? I don't understand.
So that was something that Jom taught me like back in school, where like you can, if you're thinking about like visualizing a fight, a DDR pad is pretty much like top down, left, right, and the corners. So if you draw a bunch of arrows, it can direct the flow of the shot. If you just follow the arrows in like sequential order. So like I put it like a diagonal first, then a down, then a left, then a right. That was just like random number generated arrows that dictated the shot.
Oh wow.
So cool. It makes me think almost
Nice.
of Guitar Hero.
Yeah, literally. He is literally playing a guitar solo at this point. So
well, for work, he just plays games.
Well, I want to be an animator. I think this is actually pretty similar to Soranin's workflow about the left and right thing, actually, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think generally when you're in so this like a composition of this shot is very like I like to call it horizontal. So it's just like a flat line.
Yeah.
Going from left to right. So usually in a shot like that, the dynamism comes from just like moving around in screen space,
Yeah, exactly.
all throughout the screen.
Yeah.
Whereas like if it was a more diagonal like composition, the dynamism usually comes from things moving toward or receding away from the camera.
Yeah.
The other way to do it too.
Yeah, that's really.
And is the sidewaysness to contrast the scene before this one, where she's like top down, and you're looking at her from above?
Yes. So if you look at the shot before it, it's top down, but also the composition is diagonal. So like the lead.
Oh yes, I see.
Sort of like in a diagonal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So would that work really bad if they were just straight horizontal, like the next shot?
Yeah,
that wouldn't be.
It just loses a bit of like visual contrast when you're like
Yeah.
in the storyboarding phase. You have to think about like, okay, what is like the overall composition of the shot, and then like you just kind of want to have like have it varied. So it's if it could be like diagonal left, diagonal right, it could be like a vertical shot, it could be a horizontal shot.
So you're doing what you can to emphasize the movement itself to highlight it.
Yes.
Cool. That's so cool.
Actually, I have the storyboards here if you want to look at them after too. Although it changed quite a bit.
Yeah, true. But we could probably take a look at the storyboards at the end. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. But yeah, that's sick. I think honestly, those are the main two animation things I wanted to talk about. Everything else is pretty straightforward. We do have a couple things here and there, but for the most part, it's.
I have a question about the animation.
Yeah.
The shield part at the end.
Yes, the shield part.
Where she punches the shield.
Yes.
Like and then she's like that. She holds her pose.
Yes.
And then she's like, "Oh no, that's weird." And then she jumps back. So how is the movement working there? What are the reasons behind doing it that way, instead of having a reaction where she goes flying off because of the explosion?
Interesting. Well, so this is a very anime thing. It's like when you hold the pose here, it's sort of like this pseudo slow motion thing that anime likes to do. I find it hard to verbalize.
It's completely stylized. Like that would not happen in reality.
Yeah. So the thing it's trying to mimic is in the shot before, you can see it's like a POV of Emily. She's basically rushing at the.
Oh, I see. So it's a continuation of that, of the sideways
it's a continuation
momentum?
of that, and then the fact that she only appears later in the shot is also like a stylization of just basically how much like energy and like power she's putting into this attack.
Yeah.
So
it's just completely a conceptual thing. It's not real. It's not representing real physics or anything.
Yeah, it's an exaggeration of real physics. So the way I would describe it is if you've ever tried to like do like a wall jump, like you run at the wall and you step on it, you jump off.
And you wish you could like stand on the wall for a second.
Yeah. So the idea is like the faster you run at the wall, and you can get to some physics here, like basically the more normal force you put at the wall, the like longer you'll generally stick to the wall.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Okay, I got it.
So the idea here is that she's basically moving so hard and so fast that like she stays there because like she's still her momentum isn't run out yet.
Yeah.
That's so cool because you actually already answered my other question, which was like, why does it still look right? Why does it still look good?
Yeah. Yeah. The momentum thing is interesting because basically what she's doing is she's creating her own gravity, right? Like she's pushing herself so far into the shield that she won't fall down until later, and when she's fine.
Which there's like actual physics behind that too, which is really cool.
Yeah. It's pretty
cool. It's almost like you're using physics just as an inspiration, because I think anyone can imagine the idea of like running at a wall so fast that you stand on the wall for a bit. It's just you can't actually really go that fast in reality.
Yeah, exactly.
You could go that fast, but you'd probably just like flatten against the wall and die.
You would definitely die.
just go shooting out of the earth into space.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Another interesting thing about this is that it has the added directorial benefit of like having Emily as a pose, like as a character, being very clearly there to register what happened during the climax. So the part of this shot is also about how noisy it is with the effects. So like the effects themselves are specifically as sort of like noisy and as like movementy as possible to convey the
and that's
energy.
contrasting her stillness.
Exactly. It sort of shows that like, oh, all this stuff is happening, and like this is just so you know this character is here. It also helps a lot with keeping her stationary there to make sure that the audience can register that like what happened amongst all the things that happened.
Yeah, which is important for storytelling.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah. So that's like, I mean.
Yeah, I was just wondering that scene. I was like, I know that it's so weird that she's doing that, but I don't know why it looks so right.
Yeah, it feels good.
I mean, shout out to Brandon too. He animated it.
He did.
And the momentum carries.
Oh, really? It's so good.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, like she's like subtly crunching against the shield, and like her body's still subtly moving forward.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
and it looks really nice.
It does.
Brandon did a really good job.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, this is probably a good chance to talk about effects. Cody did the effects for this shot. Kai also helped out a little bit with the effects too. But Cody, did you want to talk about the shield effects? Because that's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, for that, the actual like shield is it was originally geometry nodes, but I couldn't like keep it as geometry nodes because it kept crashing Blender.
Oh god.
So like I converted it to a mesh to get like the basically a sphere of hexagons or
pentagons. Oh, hexagons.
Yeah, one pentagon.
There's one pentagon right there.
Why is there one pentagon?
It misled me. Anyway.
So like,
why is that pentagon there?
I don't know.
It's from the
is it
dual
Voronoi?
mesh. No, it's called dual mesh in geometry nodes. I forgot. I don't know exactly what it does, but it like creates a face based on how many edges are connected to a vertex or something like that.
Whoa.
So I think the corners.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a cube that's like subdivided, and the corners, I think, have a different amount of edges or something like that.
I see it.
That's why you get those few pentagons. There's probably 8 of them.
Fair.
That's so cool.
That's
so that's actually that's a physical mesh underneath. It's not a texture on top.
Yeah. Oh, I originally had a texture, but
wow.
I think it was that we wanted this, like I wanted to do a ripple effect where it's not just like flickering, it's actually changing the size of the hexagons because like I couldn't do that with the shader. Well, like you can't like control each individual one.
Right.
And that's something that geometry nodes is useful for.
Yeah. Well,
being able to affect the faces independently.
Oh yeah. So like the way I did it was actually not geometry nodes in this case, because geometry, it's the shrinking of it is controlled with a smooth modifier and vertex groups.
Okay.
And geometry nodes doesn't yet have a true smooth node.
So the smooth modifier, because these are all separated, it just makes them smaller and more irregular when you smooth it.
Yeah. Okay. So like when you do a bunch of smooth iterations, it shrinks it essentially.
Yeah, and that's because they're all disconnected. That like all the edges are split.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. I didn't even know all that.
That's yeah. I just thought it was a sphere with a texture on it.
Honestly,
originally it was because like we had it inverted essentially. Like the lines between it were the effect, and that worked for that. But when we wanted to switch it, I just couldn't control the texture.
That's so good. That is so good. I love this effect. I think it turned out really well.
Yeah, your effects are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're so good.
Yeah, and Kai did like all the energy at the very beginning, like the crashing energy and whatnot.
Yeah,
I think that all looks great.
All these frames were Kai. And like this,
did he draw it, or is it?
So it's actually 3D. All of this is 3D. I don't think he drew any of it. So
wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So this I think might have been drawn. Maybe Cody, was this you or Kai? This particular smear frame?
When she turns into energy.
Yeah.
I think Kai did a pass of that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he did.
He might have just drawn this one, but like this right here, so this shape is a mesh. I don't even know how he did it, but it was crazy. He was showing me. He was like, "Yeah, here's a mesh. It's like, and I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna twist it."
The heck?
And he's just like, "See, and I'm gonna get all these like pixely stuff and
the rays here with the swirl that's curves with that texture on it."
Yeah. So he was able to get these
I think
curves.
that first frame where she's like noisy, I think that's probably drawn.
Yeah, this looks drawn. Yeah, but yeah, these curves here, I mean, they work so well. He just like basically he used 3D, but like this, he animated it like 2D, like Soranin mentioned, where he just went frame by frame and just got the animation to look good. And then
I thought that was hand drawn.
Yeah,
I thought it was grease pencil.
No, yeah, he used 3D curves for that, and it worked really well. And I'm pretty sure these little pixels at the end are also just like particles or something in 3D. So he got that to translate really well too.
Yeah.
And this impact frame also 3D technically. This is.
I love the impact frame.
Yeah, he just changed the colors here, and then.
Wow.
Yeah, and then.
It works so well.
It does work really well, and he also did the impact frames for this. But this was actually
I love those. They're so good.
So good.
I love this one. Pretty sure these are just hand drawn. These look like they're hand drawn. He just traced.
I believe so.
Yeah, he just traced over the frames, but it was like 2 or 3 frames. It's super easy to do.
Yeah, so like this part here with the colliding energy, that's a 3D mesh.
Yes.
Texture.
Yeah, this sort of like smoky dome is a 3D mesh, and it looks so good. It's actually Kai actually was studying Christoph's file from KNY2. So shout out to Christoph because it looks so good. The Akaza, if you guys remember from KNY2, which by the way is Demon Slayer Cats 2. I forget its project name, but Demon Slayer Cats 2 was had this amazing effect from Akaza and his Destructive Death move, and that was like this like bluish dome, and we looked at it and we were like, how did Christoph do this? And Kai was like, oh my god, he's so smart. And like he took that and just like I edited a little bit and got it to work here as well, and it looks so good. And combined that, if you look inside that mesh as well, there's a little bit of a pixely trail as well going on underneath that, which helps solidify that pixel effect that we've had throughout the video. And that's got like this distortion to it. I don't even know how he did that. That looks magical. Yeah, but that was Kai. He helped out. He's just not here right now. Poor Kai. It's like 5 a.m. for him.
He should have been here.
He should have. Oh, Cody, I gave him a ponytail for this. Oh my god.
I'm off night, Goose.
Clay.
Thanks for consistently blowing our minds.
Clay.
Also, I had bits apparently. Dillon Gu arms.
Thank you, Koyaga. He just donated 100 bits, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good night, Koyaga. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Good night.
Yes.
Night.
How long did your team take to make this animation?
It was a total of probably 3 months, 2 months, I think.
2 months?
I want to say 2 months, but I think it ended up being 3, because we started it in like end of August, and then we released it at the end of October. So
right.
Wait, that's 2 months.
Oh wait.
Wait, that is 2 months. That is 2 months. Yeah. It's not bad. Yeah, it's about 2 months. Technically speaking, the animation was finished in like 2-3 weeks, and then we were working on getting the assets finalized, the effects finalized, and eventually all the rendering, which we can talk about the line art in a little bit as well, but there's literally so much to talk about. Before we do that though, I did want to talk about the effects for the mesh trails, because
the hand trails.
These are.
I saw someone ask about that.
Yeah,
it was
quite a long time.
That took a little bit of iteration.
Yeah, it was a lot of iteration. It was a really cool effect. I think Cody could talk a lot about it, but basically, if you guys don't know, we have a tool called Mesh Trails that we made, which allows us to automate a lot of the trail itself. So we have like the animation of the trail, sort of like the shape of the trail is there from our custom tool that Late made, and that which you can get at meshtrails.com. Anyway, that one saved.
It's on sale.
It is on sale right now. It's for Black Friday actually. It's 40% off, you know.
Stop selling things.
But yeah,
That's your money.
the sponsored. But the actual shape of like the shader that we have here, the pixelated shader, is all done basically by Cody, which was a really cool process. And Soranin and Cody went back and forth a little bit in terms of like what kind of shape we should have and what kind of effect we should have, and eventually we settled on this pixely shape.
Yeah, I sent the original GP animation that I did, and I think Cody redid it.
Yes.
I believe you did it in I guess you basically made your own texture for it, or like your own image sequence.
Yeah. So like I basically took this like the shot that or the big fight shot where she at the beginning she is like you have those grease pencil like pixel voxel like shape where she's like smearing. I took that and like I basically made a flip book of like 12
book, right?
Like textures like that, just black and white textures, and just use that as the mesh trail texture, and it just flips between them.
That's sick, dude.
Does it flip between them just randomly? Just whichever one gets chosen, or is there a organization to it?
I think it just goes in order.
Okay, but it wasn't It wasn't important which ones happened at what time.
No. I know at some point I put a driver on it to make it random, but I think like it does and like it changes the random seed or whatever every time you do anything. So it's not just like when you change the frame. So and that was annoying me. I just switched it.
Yeah, because it just kept flickering.
Fair.
Yeah, so like I would select something and the whole texture would change.
Wow, that's an interesting problem to have. Okay, yeah. But that's cool. So right now I'm showing on screen Soranin's like original grease pencil drawing. So this was actually Soranin was like, hey, we should try something like this, and Cody was able to replicate it like really well. But yeah, this is all done in 2D. And Cody, your version of it, was that drawn? Was that hand drawn or was that procedural?
Yeah, it was done with grease pencil and then baked to image textures.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Because like I tried to do a procedural version of it and it did not match like at all. Like being able to do those very like specific shapes procedurally is going to be really tough.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
The inspiration for the shapes came from edge runners, by the way.
Yes, cyberpunk edge runners.
Yeah.
And this particular animation is specifically sort of like figuring out the smears. So we actually do have a couple of frames here and there that are not mesh trails, which we use to accentuate the animation specifically. And this is where we go more into the realm of 2D. So I believe Cody actually did the smears for this by hand with grease pencil. Just a couple frames here and there, but yeah, those are all grease pencil.
Yeah, where like we want like very specific arcs, we just do like usually like 1 or 2 frames. It's nothing crazy, just with grease pencil.
Yeah, which is so cool. Just I mean, letting that sink in for a bit, that we have a 2D animation software in our 3D program. Like,
yeah, it's so nice.
That's not
grease pencil is great.
That's not true for anyone else. Only Blender has it, so it's like we really take it for granted, because like normally for a production to do that, they would have to render it out, or like get like another software to import the image sequence and then like draw on top of it. And we can even draw in 3D and change the camera angle of our 2D mesh if we wanted to, and it's a fantastic tool.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just like effects. Like this is more finaling stuff, but I use it for like finaling, like clean up. Like there's that one shot where I use it to clean up some of the shading, and like I think there's another shot where that hold frame when she punches the force field, like there was a really nasty shadow on her leg, and I just drew over it and like parented it to the rig, and it just follows along.
Oh wow. I didn't even know that.
Okay, I was gonna ask, so I guess you didn't rotoscope it then? That wasn't rotoscoped?
Rotoscope what?
Like you didn't like draw over per frame? You just parented to the rig, it just worked, right?
Oh yeah. So like I'll parent it to the rig to get like the basic motion, and like if needed, I'll tweak it. So like it usually doesn't need crazy tweaks. So like I'll do like what I'll do is I'll do like every 10 frames, I'll tweak it just to make sure that it's like right, and then I'll auto interpolate between those frames.
Oh right, you can use the breakdowner. With Grease Pencil too. That's awesome.
Yeah, as long as you keep the amount of strokes the same, you can interpolate Grease Pencil pretty easy.
Wow. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Grease Pencil's open.
Yeah, if you look at her left leg, her left leg or screen right leg, like there was a really nasty shadow on her like thigh.
Very interesting. Wow.
Sorry about that.
No.
Also, I have something huge to thank Cody for so much, which was the fact he went and fixed her nose.
Oh yeah. Well, there's so many things with
because
with
I'm just sharing the before. Well, he did like so much.
Yeah.
Even actually drawing the nose shadow.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. Yeah. But this one, I was like so happy this got fixed.
Yeah, that's
and
the other way.
I was so grateful. I just linked it in the thing.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Oh my god.
This was my request to Dillon, and I was explaining why we should do it.
Yeah. Looks better. Profit.
Certified nose job.
Yeah, and so this in particular is actually it's half related to camera keys actually, right? Because when we have camera keys.
Yes, because we did not use camera keys.
Yeah, we didn't use camera keys for this yet. And if you guys don't know what camera keys is, it's because we haven't used it. but it's a tool that we've used specifically to give characters different faces for different angles. If that's like the layman way to say it. But it's basically shape keys based on camera position relative to a face or an object, and
you can morph the face depending on what angle you're looking at it from.
Yeah, exactly. Which is huge for anime because anime is not geometrically accurate, so you kind of have to do that because that's what 2D artists do. And it's a very powerful tool that we plan to use very soon, but we didn't have a chance to use it in this project, and that meant like this slightly upward angle had a couple things that were like not ideal, and one of them was that this nose would be drawn because of the line art being drawn from this angle was like being detected and being calculated, and we were like, how do we get rid of this? Now this is the thing that's particularly like goated about Grease Pencil, because the line art is also Grease Pencil. So what we do with the line art, we use the line art modifier, and we can bake it out into keyframes, which turns it into a Grease Pencil animation, which means we can also just sort of delete keyframes or overwrite keyframes of what the line art modifier draws. Yeah, which is huge.
It's very nice.
Yeah, so
like you can you can even go into like draw mode and get the eraser tool and just frame through all the like stuff real fast, and just like all I had to do is put my mouse cursor right on the nose, click, go to the next frame, click, and just do that.
That's so cool.
It took like a minute, and then that was all cleaned up.
That's so cool. Yeah, it is super nice. And like, yeah, I mean, I think we did that a couple times, like with the nose, but also with like just a couple of hair strands here and there. Like there's a couple of stray lines from like the hairs intersecting, which is just inevitable, but like you can clean it up like super fast. And this is a big difference from like sort of how line art used to be done in freestyle, where it would basically bake the line art into the render, because it's only a post effect, which means that if you wanted to change the line art in any way, you'd either have to render it out as a separate pass, which we do anyway, but like render it out as a separate pass and then like erase it in like After Effects or like mask it out or something like that. Or, you'd have to re-render it because, it's baked into the render. So yeah, this is huge. I mean, pre-render, it's all there. You can fix it, you can bake it, play it in real time. It's super nice. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It is crazy. And speaking of which, we did a couple things manually. So Cody was able to draw nose shadows and nose lines on the character that didn't exist from the line art modifier and from the shading. So like this close-up shot here looks great because the nose looks great. So Ruki actually drew a nose for reference to be like, oh, this is what it's going to look like. This is what she should look like in this angle. And then I was like, okay, Cody, do you think you can put this nose in every frame? Right? and typically that would be really hard to do because, you got to draw every frame. That's difficult. And Cody, if I'm not mistaken, you drew it once and then you just parented it to her head, right?
Yeah, like because there's very little motion. So like I didn't need to do much. I think I did maybe 2 frames because like there's a little slight motion where she looks to the left.
Yeah.
So I did like the first frame and then I used sculpt mode to like massage it into place. And once like she finishes that turn,
I love that description.
Massage her
Just
nose.
massaging the nose shadow.
Yeah.
and then just auto interpolate and you're done.
So good.
That's sick.
Yeah. And it gave us this really fine control that we've never had before. Like we can just draw.
And it looks so convincing.
It does.
Even though it's massaged.
Yeah. Yeah, it is really well done. And you can see that here, and like technically these nose shadows are also just drawn on. And that helped a ton. I mean, it's just insane.
Wait, is that one massaged as well?
Yeah, this one's
They're all massaged.
I think that one was just the one drawing.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Like,
so you drew another one. It looks so good.
Yeah. You drew a few. There's a couple. I think.
Yeah, there's I think 3, maybe 4, but pretty sure at least 3.
Yeah, there was one.
Because there's like 2 shots that
right
were
here.
like extreme close-ups, and I just copy and pasted it from the first one.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah, there's one there, and then there's this one as well, which technically is a similar shot, but not the same shot as before.
Yeah.
And then there is technically this one. This is like also a slightly different shape, but this was drawn on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then right here, and then there's this close up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was another shot where like the mouth line from the line art bake wasn't fully complete. Like this,
I think it was this shot.
This shot right here,
Yeah.
this like last close up, and the one where she turns around, the robot one turns around. I think I like had to go in and add some lines to the lips.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and like the close up of her turning around, I had to clean up the shadow line going across her torso.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I also cleaned it up in After Effects in addition to that.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, it was like real jaggedy.
Yeah. There was there was a transition here that I animated by hand actually. So this was actually a shadow that I animated in with a mask.
Oh no.
Just to get this transition shape to be a little smoother. Because before I think it snapped into place from here to like here in like one frame. So
yeah, you can see it. It looks good.
Yeah, it looks alright. It's pretty good. A lot better than before at least. So yeah.
Yes, I need to work on my setup for that.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
This was just proof of concept actually.
Exactly. Yeah. This was you proved it. You did actually. We could talk about the shading because the shading is a huge undertaking because
man, no one will have any idea of anything of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make any sense.
Well, basically, I mean the general idea is that like what people should know is that a lot of the shading is like, done dynamically, right? So like even though we're painting these nose shadows on and stuff, like that's only in the very fringe cases where we need it. It's really well done to the point where like the shading holds up really well most of the time, and that's only because we've worked so hard to set up the shaders to do that. Specifically Ruki, but yeah, there's like a whole method to it, but it's really hard to explain, to be honest. It breaks a lot of things and fixes them again. And
in short, I create the shadows in the shader itself.
Yeah,
they're not real.
They're not real.
I make them.
Yeah. One of the
fake. It's all a lie.
Yeah.
It's all a lie.
One of the things specifically about, if you guys want to know more about like normal editing and what it is, or like shading, or just getting shading to look right, is like you basically have to ignore the geometry. Everything the geometry says is real is not real. You have to make your own.
It's all the geometry is a lie.
Yeah, the geometry is a lie.
It lies to you.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to ignore the geometry and like make sure no one sees the geometry. The geometry doesn't exist, and then you have to replace that with new shadows that tell you something else. And yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. Yeah. So that's how it works.
All I know is I have to do special rigging things when I rig it, and I don't really know what I'm doing, but I just do it.
You might not have to do that soon, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh.
But otherwise, thank you for doing that.
The workflow is ever changing, but it keeps getting better. So it used to be so much worse. Like there was so many like limitations to what we could do with the rigging because of like the like we had like these specifications of like this has to be exactly like this, and you can't touch that part, and like I'll make sure you don't. But like now it's actually a lot more flexible, and we're improving it each time, so it's really cool.
I'm glad for it, because back when we used to use normal edited stuff, I broke the shader so many times.
Yeah,
same.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, I was rigging it and I don't know what happened. It's broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I did some stuff for Royal Skies ages ago. I don't do normals in that way anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. That's it's a very interesting sort of like, I guess, turn of events going into the shader now instead. That's really cool. But
yes,
yeah,
the shader's where it's at.
Yes, exactly. That one glove also asks, is the mouth modeled and rigged, or is it using a Boolean type thing? It is modeled and rigged. We have a mouth bag.
Oh my god, I hate that word.
Yes. Yep, that's
and
what we
say
have.
It with,
wait, did you make up that term?
Dylan.
No, Ruki taught me that term. Ruki taught it to me, and she says, I hate this term. It's called mouth bag. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to use that from now on. That's my life now.
It's kind of a perfect description.
It is the perfect description. Yeah,
that is
I've
the
never heard it before, and it's like ruined 3D for me. I'm switching to 2D.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's so viscerally awful.
So
it's a bag of mouth.
It is a bag of mouth. For those of you guys who don't know what a mouth bag is, it's essentially like, you know how our mouths are sort of bag-like, like in real life. It's kind of like, no, but like it's essentially we model the real mouth, but we just don't have an esophagus, so it's just closed at the end, and that's what a mouth bag is. It's just like a little pouch for your teeth and your tongue.
The more you say mouth bag, the more it sounds like an insult.
Like, when people are, when like families cooking and they soak meat in a bag with all sorts of ingredients. So it makes me think of that, but like inside your mouth. This was not
imagery I needed in my head.
Yeah. Instead of meat, it's like teeth and a tongue. Marinating.
Oh, that's the word. Yeah.
Mouth pouch. That's kind of worse.
Marinating in the mouth bag.
Yeah. Mouth cavity? That doesn't sound better. I'm not gonna lie.
It does not.
It doesn't sound better. Sounds infected. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah. So that's yes, we do have a real mouth, and I think that for me personally, I think real mouths are really useful for eating and swallowing, but also for anime. Yeah.
You
had me in the first second.
But yeah, I think specifically a lot of people like to use, I don't know, like mouth hacks and stuff, like the Boolean thing that Lightning Boy does.
Why did they do that?
I mean, I think it's a legitimate workflow for sure, but it's like when you do anime stuff, you kind of want more control over.
I think it works for really stylized characters. Really simple.
Yeah, exactly. Like Lightning Boy's tutorial about it was great. I thought it was a really cool workflow for his character, and like that character was a very stylized character who had kind of like almost a cylindrical face, very simple spherical type face, and you can cut it out pretty easily and it'll work pretty well. For anime, it's like, especially with the geometry that we have, like we kind of don't want that geometry to be seen, and like if you cut into it, you're gonna see the geometry, if that makes sense, right? Like if you have more control, like you have like with a real mouth, you can kind of change the shape of the mouth however you want, and what angle you see it
it
from.
Also if you were to just Boolean cut into it, it will reveal the sort of distortion of the model that's necessary for it to work.
Yeah, exactly. Like the geometry that we have, if you were we have probably that Twitter post, I'll pull it up later, but like the geometry of Emily's face is actually like
wait, I can just I'm in the file
nice
from before, but I'll show you how extreme it is.
It is very extreme in terms of like how much we have to exaggerate certain features, because it's not going to look like a real human face by any means, but it looks great. It looks great once you like flatten the shading and stuff, but
so you can see it better at the extreme angles, because that's the thing with it, is the normal angles look fine. It's just when you the illusion breaks down when you look at it from extreme angles.
Which is exactly why we need camera keys, which we're going to be
And exactly why everyone was like, "Oh, her chin is so pointy." It's like Dillon didn't let me use camera keys.
Yeah, that's true. That the pointy chin is
Everyone stop criticizing me. It's not my fault.
Yeah. So basically, if we had camera keys, we could change the chin shape from the top, because the chin is the chin has to be sharp. The chin has to be sharp because of, it has to be sharp from the for the other angles. The chin is not sharp for this angle; it's sharp for the other angles. But the other angles are seen more often, so you prioritize that. So when you get a top view like this, you're kind of beholden to the fact that, like, as a 3D geometry, you're exaggerating it. It'll look a little bit wrong from this angle in particular, but you sacrifice that on purpose or intentionally for the other angles. So with camera keys, we don't have to do that sacrifice anymore. We have the ability to make this angle look good from this angle and the other angles too. So that's sort of the goal in the next project, and we're going to be able to play around with camera keys a bit more. But yeah, you can kind of see how the shape isn't really human. It's like, I don't even know what this is.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, it is, but it's really cool.
It's what 2D looks like.
That's true. This is what anime looks like. This is what, if you had an anime waifu, she would look like this in real
That's
life.
what she would really look
Her
like.
face would change when you walk around her.
Yeah, yeah. Depending on which angle you see her from. Yeah, she's a whole new person.
It's like, honey, can you just tilt your head up a bit?
Yeah,
Kind of
I like you better
from this angle. Sorry.
Yeah. They didn't really draw you well from the bottom, so I'm sorry about that.
She gets further away and she just like loses her face.
True. Actually,
Oh my god.
that's something I really want to try when I get to it, like getting like this.
I quite like it. We should definitely do that.
Yeah, it's something me and Ruki have talked about in the past, where we're just like finding a way to just like I don't know if dynamically find it or just like consciously just know which shots have.
We could do it. I can do it. I just forgot.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's fair. But
we could do it for the stuff we're working on, maybe.
We could.
If there's time.
We could. That's true. We could do that. Yeah, if we had time. Yeah, that'd be good. Oh, Ramen's got some cool stuff. Hang on, let me see this. This is actually. Oh, Ramen, that first one is from Ruki. You know what this is from? This is from Live 2D,
yes,
right?
Yes, I do.
Is that from Live 2D?
Yes, that was a. They don't do this anymore. What the first one is Live 2D. It was called Euclid, which they spent a lot of time developing and then completely and utterly abandoned.
Unfortunately.
So what it was the idea was they would use the 2D planes in 3D space, but they would mix it with 3D. They'd put 2D planes on the head and a 3D body, and it worked fairly well. But I guess there was problems with it that they couldn't solve because they just
abandoned it.
They worked on it for a few years, and I'm so excited about it. But I was glad I didn't wait, and I learned 3D instead because they abandoned it.
Yeah.
Like a year after they announced it.
Sad.
Oh shit! Really?
Sad.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really cool because the idea was you would draw each angle, and then the program would just sort of interpolate between them for you, and it would also let you just mix it with a 3D body.
That's cool. That's really cool.
But you can see what's happening there, though. It's just that they're tracked to the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
The head is just tracked to the camera.
Yeah.
And the program has whatever algorithm controlling the layering and stuff like that. Yeah. There's some logic they've programmed into it to blend between the different angles.
Yeah. And then like the 3D version of that is essentially what this second one is. It's sort of like, this is kind of what Camera Keys does, but
yes,
it's also a bit more exaggerated.
Yeah.
Could do potentially if I was allowed to do it.
We got it. We got the opportunity right now. It's great. But yeah, you can see that the mouth and stuff distorts quite heavily, depending on what angle you see it from, because you're not beholden to geometry anymore. And this is what we would want to do as well. We can do with the mouth as well, just with a rig. But ideally with the camera key stuff, we'll be able to automate a lot of certain other shapes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which just sort of like help with the face silhouette and the facial features feeling a little bit more 2D.
What's fascinating is actually those two videos are doing the same thing. The same concept is being used.
Yeah.
If you look at the first one, it's the fact that features, they are just floating. They really don't have any meaning in terms of a wider shape. They're just on layers floating around.
Mm-hmm.
And in the second one, that's how they're being treated now, that the mouth isn't really a geometric structure stuck in a skull and you can't do anything with it. its position is fluid and malleable. It's like it's a 3D thing. You can just shift around willy-nilly to get it to look right, get it to look better if you want it to.
Yeah. You basically separate it from the face conceptually, but it's like it's still there.
Yeah.
It's in the face, but you're ignoring the fact that it's in the face, essentially.
Yeah. You're ignoring the fact that a mouth should really not shift off to the side like that.
Yeah.
Mouths don't move around like that. It's like they do now.
Exactly.
If you want it to look its best.
Exactly. Yeah. They also did some cool stuff with looks like the nose and the nose shadow as well, which is kind of interesting. I thought that was cool. I didn't realize that before. But yeah, that looks fantastic. Also, Soranin, you posted this. This is from Bell, I believe.
Yes.
Oh, it's Austin's tweet. Yeah. Yeah, this is cool. This is basically camera keys. What are we seeing here?
I believe they had a version of their own camera keys on the project.
So, yeah. The right side is the corresponding, like, if you were to look at it stationary.
Yeah.
If you were to look at it in world space,
right.
Everyone who remembers,
yes.
With no camera,
yes,
that's what's actually happening. When the camera moves, you can see how it's tracked to the camera position.
I'm actually impressed with how little it's moving.
Camera angle.
It's actually not distorting that much. But I feel like I'm missing.
They're
like,
just shift.
It's
mostly that lower face. You see when the eyes shift and it looks like she's going cross-eyed.
Yeah.
That corresponds to when you're looking at the side eye. They've shifted it forwards and inwards to get the depth of the side eye.
Well, how can I pause it on that particular frame?
I have no idea. Oh, I just did it.
Oh, I did it too. I did it
by
too.
accident.
I did it too. Okay, cool. That is cool. Yeah. So they are actually moving the eye there to get that side eye to look better.
Yes.
That's cool. Wow. Looks like they've also pulled the cheeks back and pushed the chin forward.
Yeah, staying on model for 3D anime is like a struggle.
Yeah.
Especially the side profiles.
It's funny because you would think it's not.
Yeah, because you would think it'd almost be easier compared to 2D, but yeah. I mean, I guess it is technically. To be fair, we have less frames to worry about. They have more opportunities for messing up, but still, it is a challenge. That's cool. But yeah, man, I think
we. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I think someone asked about like eye animation earlier that we missed.
Which animation?
K.R. Marley.
Well, yes.
Eye iris animation.
The iris. Yeah, they mentioned the eyes look really good. So how did we do that?
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
There is some weird stuff happening with the eye.
Yeah, it's a really cool weird stuff.
Really cool weird stuff.
Particularly the eye highlights are dynamic.
Yes.
Super cool.
That's true.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. This is traditionally, this is very similar to the hair highlights. Traditionally, we've had like just a mesh that sort of is like it's basically like a 2D drawing of like the eye highlights sort of plastered on there. But Ruki actually figured out how to get them to react to the camera.
What happened? Okay, the truth is, what happened? Ruki learned some maths.
Yeah.
That is the only thing that has changed.
Yeah.
Between last year me and today me, I learned some maths.
Mm-hmm. Mathematics.
I didn't do maths in school.
Yeah.
How did you learn the maths?
I learned the maths by just messing around with Blender Node Editor and then being like, hey, I'm actually curious about the maths. Maths is actually kind of fun. And I kind of want to know it so I can make this look better.
He's been brainwashed, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've been brainwashed. Maths is great. Maths is fun. Yay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This twice over held hostage by math.
Yeah, you can see.
But yeah, so the eye highlights are actually on a curved plane in front of the iris.
Yeah.
It's a separate thing.
Yeah.
And they're dynamic because I think I'm just mixing in the reflection vector a little bit, which is basically just it sort of moves them around when you move the camera around relative to her when you look around. It's like a fake reflection.
That's cool.
So you add it a little bit, it gives a little bit of movement, enough for it to look dynamic.
Yeah. That curved plane also like just helps a lot because you saw earlier when she turns to the right, you can see that the eye highlights are not just sticking onto the iris. Like it's sort of a little bit past the iris silhouette here, and that gives it that 3D feel because it's not quite plastered on top. It's actually on the cornea.
And I could mix in more of the reflection vector if I wanted it to be more dramatic. If I want it to look less stuck.
Yeah, it's really cool.
There's also some cool stuff with the eye modeling too. Like I noticed when I was rigging it, you had the fake eye volume thing.
The fake sclera. Fake sclera.
Fake sclera, and also I'm faking depth of the iris itself.
Oh, yes.
You guys would have noticed that because I'm doing backface culling. Wait, I'm just getting a screenshot. You'll know when you see it. So this is the mesh of the eyes. Oops. And you can see it has that weird border around it. That is actually giving it this effect. Just ignore the other one. It's a material with backface culling. You only see the extra curve from
the side angles.
What's facing you is invisible. So like if I were to get rid of it, if I were to not have that, then it just looks it doesn't look as it doesn't look like an eye as much from more intense angles.
Yeah.
It's faking the curvature of the sclera, the cornea on top. It's just faking that sort of curvature.
Yeah, which sort of like it sort of extends the iris color a little bit further than it would, and only from certain angles too, which is why the backface culling works so well.
Yeah. So it's just as you turn it around, you'll see that depth where you wouldn't otherwise. And it's the same thing that's happening with the sclera, which is completely fake. So it's like most anime models where it is the iris itself is not attached to a
eyeball.
Eyeball, yeah. It's just floating in space, basically.
Yeah.
And
it's an eye pouch.
The problem with that.
It's an eye bag.
Eye bag.
I'm not saying it anymore. You just ruined it.
It's a pouch for your eye. It's easy.
Good. Now everyone suffers. Look what you've done.
I've brought us together.
To be fair, the bone I rig it to is called I think I call it an eye cave. Maybe that's a little better.
Eye cave.
That is worse. I wasn't aware of that.
Okay. It's not better at all. All right, not bad.
Eye cave.
So I just made the fake sclera a different color so that's without it, and this is with it, and you can see with it the screen left eye as you turn. You see the curvature of it, whereas normally because you're using an eye cave technique.
Yeah.
That would not happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just this rim around the eye, just like the rim of the iris. So it's the same idea.
Yeah.
So and also obviously backface culling. So you can't actually see it unless you turn to those angles.
Yeah, that is amazing. Super cool. Yeah, and it fakes that shape really well without being that shape. It's like that's sort of like the whole philosophy of making
and it
anime.
does it on the inner eye as well. So it's not just for the outer eye, but the inner eye. Whereas normally, it's faking that depth there as well.
So good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas normally it just wouldn't exist. It's just.
I guess a question that people might have about this is why not just make it a real eyeball, right? Because like you're sort of replicating that effect, but why not just make it a real eyeball?
The freedom of it, because like the eyeball, if you're animating something that's has to rotate around, also because the model is technically it's so distorted. Because the perspective distortion of the model itself, like you saw before, the bizarreness of the shape of the head, it's trying to work a perfect sphere with that, and also having the eyes itself you have to contend with. Normally your eyes curve around your eyeball. They don't do that for these models. They're a lot flatter. So the eyeball You can do it. It just it's more. It gives you less freedom, basically.
Yeah. So traditionally, I don't know if anyone who's used the Abbey rig, you might have seen this done. We've tried it before where we've used a lattice modifier for the eyeball, so you have like a really flattened sphere that moves inside the eyeball, and like that works, and you get a really accurate sort of eyeball shape. But what I found interesting about this technique, because it's an extension of like what we do with the face, which is essentially, you know, having full control over the silhouette. This gives us freedom to essentially do stuff that a eyeball wouldn't necessarily do, but a 2D artist would. So like a great example of that is like right here, this side silhouette, like adding just enough sliver on the outside of that iris silhouette from this angle may not be there if you used a real eyeball, because like the angle might not be exactly what you want, but sometimes you just want there to be a bit of sclera showing. And if you want to have that freedom, this method allows you to just add that shape in and just be like, okay, it's going to be there, it's going to be here from this angle, and it's going to look great. But like with an eyeball, you're just beholden to the geometry. You don't really have that option. So I think that's one of the biggest advantages, along with, of course, the freedom of, you know, movement and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about an eyeball being inside the head either. Another problem that we had with it was when we did the Katsu stuff. I'm sure Ramen remembers this because
oh god,
yeah. So when we did Katsu stuff in Demon Slayer Cats 2, we had Tanjiro, and all the cats had eyeballs, but they had eyeballs that were huge because anime eyes are huge. And I think we even did have a lattice modifier, but because they were just so big, what ended up happening was when Ramen went to go animate Tanjiro, he was doing some shots where he was distorting the face quite a lot and also opening the mouth quite wide. And what we found out was that if he opened the mouth wide enough, the eyeballs would poke through the mouth bag.
I don't like that you discovered that.
I didn't like having to animate it.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I actually had to cut out pieces of the eyeball just so that they were like missing.
You had to use a mask.
Yeah, I had to mask out parts of the eyeball just so that the mouth bag could exist without the eyeball intruding in its space. And
wear a mask.
Clipping through it. Wear a mask. Yeah, no one wants to do that. It is disgusting. So yeah, the eyeballs don't work for everything. Like they're gonna give you a lot of weird production problems. And this solution, super clean, super great freedom, great results. You have complete control over that, and it looks basically the same. Honestly, like and if not better, than actually having an eyeball. So that's a pretty cool technique that I thought was worth mentioning. Wow.
I have an amazing comparison between the different techniques.
Okay.
If I can find where I saved it.
Very curious. Yeah.
Which I got from got it. I think this, which is from an article on Autodesk's website for Maya. But
yes.
It's showing the different eye techniques for a model. So I'll just quickly record a quick video of it on my screen and send it through. But it's showing basically it'll answer the question that you had before.
Like why not use an eyeball?
Why like what are the strengths and weaknesses of each technique? What is each technique doing?
That would be really
so
cool,
there's like the base technique, which is actually the normal one technique is you have the eye, you have sort of you don't have an eyeball, but you do have the sclera sort of just extended from the iris. Extended from the iris to the eyes. It's just like this way Guilty Gear sometimes does it.
Oh yeah, my Zelda rig has that too.
Yeah, if that doesn't make any sense, it'll make sense in a second.
So it's like a hemisphere dome type thing, right? Or
no, it's just basically the floating iris technique, but then filled in instead of the gap.
I see. Interesting. Okay.
And then you have the eyeball technique. Then there's another one where you have like this curved shape, and then which is UV scroll. You're not actually, there is no pupil there is no iris. It's just a texture. It doesn't look very good. And then you have the floating technique, which is the last one. So we'll look at those. I just realized I should have talked about it not when I was recording it and no one else could see.
That's fine.
Oh my God.
Yes, Ramen, thank you. This is the cursed Tanjiro eyeball.
Yes.
Oh God. Oh God, no. Oh, no.
I'm going to I could tell you about something it reminds me of, but I think Shane might vomit.
Now you have to.
Now you have to.
There's this frog. I saw this frog.
Oh no.
Whose eyeballs were inside his mouth. They grew on the roof of his mouth.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, in order to.
You want to see a picture?
No.
Oh, I kind of want to DM it to me.
They're
Put the spoiler tag on it.
It's the kind of frog that, like, when they swallow, they use their eyes to push the food down.
No. He was a deformed frog.
Oh!
They're not meant to be inside his mouth.
Just a poor.
Oh no.
Oh no. I thought
No, he was an unfortunate
I thought
frog.
he was supposed to be like that. Oh God.
No.
All right. Well, fair enough.
I'm seeing the picture again because Soranin asked me for it, and I regret
Okay.
remembering it.
I'm gonna watch this video.
How do I spoil?
Oh, you just use absolute value brackets. 2 of them.
Oh, the what now?
Straight brackets.
2 vertical lines on each side.
Yeah.
Oh, asterisk brackets.
What?
What?
No, like above like these.
The one underneath the backspace.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Absolute value brackets.
2 at the beginning, 2 at the end.
That's what they're called, right?
No one has to look at the scary frog link
I'm looking. Hold on.
unless they want to.
Facebook link?
Log in or sign up.
I'm not looking. I'm not looking.
Sorry. Okay. Wait out.
Right.
I'll just do the picture.
I hate it. Oh, I hate it.
That's kind of sick. What the?
This is an extra protection of it. Charles is not even here.
I'm not sure if I should click this link. I'm good. You guys enjoy.
It's education.
Yeah.
So if it goes to sleep, does it
I don't
just
know.
close its mouth?
It's so bright.
That's kind of sick, honestly.
That's fair. Oh my God.
Well, if we need any
Oh,
max
God.
inspiration, there we go.
No, I can't. I'm not showing that on stream.
Aww.
Oh.
TOS for sure.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's just backface culling.
That's just backtrace calling. Oh God.
Well, no, I guess that's two-sided.
Oh.
Two-sided.
For anyone
one
who's
texture.
curious, it's literally just a frog with its eyes are inside its mouth. They're like flipped
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
into its mouth.
Yeah. It's.
If you want
like
to,
the meme
if you
photo
want to
you
see
sent.
the picture, just
You
look
guys
up
Google it. Yeah,
frog
Google it.
eyes inside mouth.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all the results.
Oh, apparently the vertical line is called a pipe. Huh. Interesting.
Why does it look like this?
Oh, it does look like that. Oh no. All right, look, we're gonna watch Ruki's video real quick. Is there sound to this video?
No.
Okay, cool.
This was just me talking and it's zooming on each one. So those are the 4 different techniques.
Oh.
That's
okay.
the first one where you just fill in the gap of the iris to the edge of the eye. What the difference is ultimately between each one is how you want the eye to look from the 3/4 angle. The sphere, using an eye for a sphere. I mean, it's pretty bad.
It was
like it's
guys,
pretty bad.
I'm not gonna make everyone look at the frog. If you can look at the frog if you want to.
He's saying we're wusses. He's saying we made it worse.
No, it was pretty bad. It was. I mean, it felt worse.
I felt it worse.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I don't know. It's not as bad as what goes through my mind when I hear mouth bag.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's kind of like that's kind of Junji Ito sounding.
It is. That's true.
The eyeball technique will make it so the eyelashes, you can't really see them. It's like a much more dramatic curve around.
Oh, okay.
In addition to the other stuff we listed before. But yeah, those are the different techniques for eyes. It's really cool.
Okay. Wait, the UV scroll is the you UV scroll the
Yeah,
actual...
UV scroll is
interesting.
Sorry, just the eye area is mask. It's just a texture, but then you have no depth to the iris, so it looks terrible.
Right. And then pupil floating. So pupil floating is what we have, but we also have the fake sclera on top of that, which is our.
I just read the. It sounds so tragic, but no, it looks out the mouth. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it does. Oh, hey, Sloth, thanks for the sub. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, so they're different ways you can do the eye.
Yeah.
Different advantages, disadvantages. Ultimately, just affects how the eye curves around.
Yeah. It affects the 3D shape of the eye, how it's perceived.
Yes.
Yeah. Makes sense. Cool. Yeah, this is a cool video. You said you got these from Autodesk? These models?
Yeah, I was trying to find the article before, but I'll see if it's still online. See if we can get a link to it.
Yeah, maybe eventually.
If we can't, I'll upload the model thing because I had it exported out of Maya.
Ah, yes. Don't want to open that program. I actually don't have Maya installed.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, I had to open like a Maya file for something, and I like begged Ramen. I was like, Ramen, please.
It didn't even open properly.
It didn't even work. But like, I was like, please, surely you could do it. I can't do it. I'm helpless without you. Yeah.
Maya license expires in 2022.
Oh,
December.
Geez. Oh no.
So after that, we're doomed.
We're doomed.
Oh, what? No.
That's the last remaining student license you'll ever find, ever.
Oh wow. They stopped that?
They stopped the student licenses, then they made it incredibly hard to like download it if you're like a student or anything.
Bruh.
Does that mean their stranglehold on the industry will be over?
Oh yeah,
maybe.
Because like we don't have students learning it for free anymore.
True.
Yeah. Well, I know at Lightbox, like Lightbox Expo a few weeks ago, apparently like a bunch of 3D people are like modelers and concept artists and like animators and stuff. They like all of them use Blender like in their free time.
Yep.
Like on their personal projects and stuff.
Is it like a shameful thing? Are they just like, yeah, I use Blender just in my free time, but secretly they love it?
No, I think it was like, I don't know. They just all found it easier to use like in their free time and stuff. Like, I mean, for studios, obviously the company's gonna make you use whatever they want you to use. But I think it's good. It's a good sign that I think a lot of people actually like really enjoy using Blender.
Oh yeah,
for their personal stuff.
It's gonna take over the industry pretty soon. I'm pretty sure.
No one can stop open source.
True. True.
Like it was slowly rising up before the makeover and everything too. I thought like I mean it was a lot less, but now it's like super competitive.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Including our build of Blender, Gu Engine, which
Gu Engine available for download.
GuEngine.org.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's on sale. I mean, it's free.
Yeah, it's open source. But yeah,
it's cheaper than Maya.
It is cheaper than Maya. It's so much cheaper than Maya. My God. But yeah, we could talk a little bit about Gu Engine, but I mean, pretty much everything from the video we've talked about. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about specifically? We do have the music and the sound from Shane. Did you want to talk about that a little bit, Shane? Yeah.
Sure. I will say, first of all, shout out to Cake. He asked me to, and he said that I'm his father, which I don't think it's true. Anyways, so the music.
Cake, what are you doing?
I don't recall.
Is Cake on stream? Is Cake in the stream right now?
Cake, I think he's here, unless he fell asleep.
Yeah, he might have fallen asleep. Cake, where? Cake
missed his shout out, bro.
Cake, what are you doing? Anyway, continue.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the music, I did want to mention I did post on Twitter like when I started it, I mostly started with percussion and just did my best with the strings and all that. Like I get terrified when I think of scoring because I don't know, like I'm just not that musical. I don't know music theory, but then Dillon, you like kind of saved the day coming up with these chord progressions.
Oh, did I?
You gave me the MIDI files and like because like you wrote them to what I did and then sent me the MIDI files and I just kind of like shaped it around that.
Nah, it worked.
And it worked out really nice.
Yeah, it did work really well. I really liked that workflow. I thought that was really cool. So let's listen to the music real quick so that we have some context. It's been a while since we've had the sound on. Just play this real quick.
I wanted to voice that line, those lines.
Oh, we could talk about the voices too. Oh god, the voices.
I want that beautiful female voice.
the British female. Who could have possibly voiced the British female? Yeah, that was me. Anyway, let's move on.
I love the sound just started right after you said that was me.
Yeah. Shane did a great job, by the way, distorting my voice. Just want to call that.
What do you mean? It sounds just like you.
Yeah.
Antivirus protocol.
I love the percussion.
So good.
No.
Virus attack pattern successfully duplicated. Antivirus protocol fully engaged. Executing malware threat.
Yeah.
That was really good.
I don't really know what else to say about it.
That was really, really good.
And that was sound. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Like what surprised me the most, I'm curious if this was difficult for you at all, but like
I had
the beats
it
in
was
the
just a
video
lot of fun. Shoot, I can't remember what I did. I had to find a tempo that just felt right, that kind of hit the marks, because like the animation was pretty much edited for the most part already, so I couldn't we couldn't animate to music. So the music was like after the fact, and that's usually pretty hard to do, just to make it hit. But like, I don't know, the tempo just lined up right.
Yeah, the beats like hit like more than I thought they would.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't know. I imagine that's like really, really hard to do like after the fact, like you said. So
yeah, usually, but it just it worked out really good for this. So I don't know that it'll work out next time as well. But
all part of the plan.
I think it's a testament to how rhythmic our choreo is, because like I think all of us as choreographers follow a very sort of like rhythmic sort of beat. Not all choreographers do that. I think we have that particular style preference. And when you look at, so this is great because we're gonna watch this fight scene with Soranin and stuff, because like I've watched it so many times and I'm like, it goes with the beat so well. Check it out. Right, so like it
a drop.
yeah, it hits all the things, and it's like it's great, it's rhythmic, it feels good. And there's actually, I think there's one moment, I think, Shane, where I cut one measure out to get the thing fitting properly, but other than that,
oh really?
Yeah, I think there's one measure that we
but it was like it still stayed on tempo, like it still
exactly
sounded right.
Yeah,
and even if it was like a little off, it still like hit the moments, so it was just pretty fun.
Yeah, it worked out really well. And then I was also the voice at the end. Technically, this was me. That was my. It's really impressive, the fact that this is my voice, not for me, but for Shane distorting it in a way that doesn't sound like me. Like,
I don't even know what I did. It just somehow it.
Virus attack pattern successfully duplicated.
That
antivirus protocol fully engaged.
I wonder, did you have Dillon do like multiple takes? And like, did
I?
Yeah, he originally did.
Wait, did I?
Yeah, it's at least 2 takes at the same time.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I did do that.
2 later takes, and then I grouped it up and put some effects over it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, just
yeah, because I really like how it sounds. I guess it's sort of like it sounds like, you know, there's one person talking, but there's also like multiple people talking.
Yeah.
Like it feels like sort of like a hive mind.
Yes,
exactly. Which is obviously what it is.
Yeah, that was actually done intentionally before I even sent it to Shane, because I recorded it twice to give it that sort of hive mind feel. So that was cool.
Yeah.
At first, I didn't realize it was going to be her talking, so it was just like Dillon, but like computerized.
Yeah.
And then I was like, see what it sounds like pitched up.
What's wrong with my voice?
No,
I'm just kidding. Yeah, it worked really well, and it honestly fits really well too. I'm impressed. There was did you voice anything in this, Shane? I don't remember.
No, I didn't do anything.
Usually you do, so I'm just like usually there's like Shane also has a cameo. He has a cameo in our other animation, Alice Wakes, which we haven't released yet. But if you watched it,
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I love that one.
Yeah, at the Blender conference.
The cameo, I mean, it sounds so good.
Yeah. Shane's voiceover in that one was really good.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I was like, what? When I listened, I was like, I'm so amazed.
Yeah, it sounds really good. And that's going to be hopefully done this year if we have some time. We'll make sure we can try to get it done, do it some justice, because it's a really cool project that is kind of similar to this one, but it's actually more acting based. So we have less like of that action-y feel, and we have more of like the sort of like character animation stuff that we like to do. Yeah. So
I just sorry, I finally realized something. So at the end where she like lifts her foot and like turning around, I was like, why does she have a light on her heel? And then so I thought that you did it.
Wait,
it turns out I forgot.
No, no way.
Because the whole time I was like, that's actually a really good idea. I'm glad Dillon did that. Turns out I did that by accident by not selecting the whole foot.
God. Oh my. This whole time I thought you did it on purpose. Oh my God. Wow.
We call that a happy accident.
It looks cool. I like it because it's like.
Who says 3D doesn't have happy accidents?
That's true.
Yeah, I thought that was intentional all this time.
Yeah,
I didn't question it.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh my God.
I thought it was intentional and that Dillon had done it.
No, I didn't do anything.
A little bit of miscommunication there.
Wow. Well, that's new to me. Oh my God. Huh. Well, the more you know. Wow.
Good job.
Yeah, good job, team. I mean, you. Yeah. Well, I mean, other than the music, did you want to talk about sound a little bit as well, Shane, or do you feel like that's pretty straightforward?
Oh man, that was pretty straightforward though. It was like a mix of using sound effects from libraries that we found.
Yeah.
But then I also tried to do synthesis over it using I'm blanking out. Yeah, Phase Plant. That's like a pretty sweet synth, and it's just an excellent tool for sound design.
Wow.
If you understand synthesis, which I don't.
Okay.
Just kind of like experimented.
Right enough.
But yeah, it happened to work out again. So
nice. Yeah.
Yay.
It did. It worked out really well. So the synthesis allow you to create sounds from scratch? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Wow.
You basically have the sound sources like an oscillator that creates a wave and
so you're actually creating sound waves manually.
Yeah. And
that's sick.
Phase Plant's pretty cool because it's got like this whole set of effects, like just tons of effects that you can use within the one instrument. And I seen some guy, I can't remember his name. He's on like Twitter recreating all these things from movies. Like he recreated the sounds from Predator or like an airplane flying, and it sounds real.
Wow.
And it's all just using synthesis. Like
that is crazy.
If you really understand it, like you can make anything.
Yeah. Man, that is cool.
That sounds really powerful.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I didn't know you used that. I mean, typically like my workflow for sound is just finding stuff on like YouTube. So
yeah. That's probably the smarter way to work in our situation. So.
That's fair. No, it worked out really well. It sounds great. But man, let's watch it one more time with sound so people can sort of like appreciate what we have here. But yeah.
Malware detected. Quarantine failed. Deploy antivirus protocol.
yeah, I should mention too.
Yeah.
Tried out that new UVI walkers plugin, and it's pretty awesome for animators. Like, I think it comes with like 42,000 footstep sounds.
Yeah.
That quickly blew up. I thought you were gonna say 42.
No, it saves so much time because like you just watch the animation and press the keys to it, and like the velocity completely changes the sounds, and it's just like it's pretty awesome. So
do you do it on a MIDI so it has the vector?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The one thing about that too is like if you play it back, every time you play it, it's going to like trigger slightly different sounds, but
that's fine.
They're pretpretty close. It all sounds like convincing.
Yeah, the footsteps sounded so good, and like what's crazy is like a lot of people don't appreciate this, but like animation doesn't have footsteps, but like automatically. You know what I mean? Like sound design, every footstep has to be placed there manually, and typically that's like a tedious process because you got to have different sounding footsteps for each step, and you have to like place them at the right time and all this stuff. And like
I've never thought about that.
Yeah, most people don't. It's
like obviously you can't. I'll just like just put footstep sound when foot goes down.
Yeah.
And that would just sound completely robotic and stupid.
Yeah, it's quite a challenge because like when you find the footstep you want, there's like only like 3 or 5 footsteps in there, so you have to like repeat them and try to not make it sound like it's repeating.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like,
oh my god.
Yeah. So yeah, that tool's a huge lifesaver.
Yeah.
I've never thought about how complex that actually is.
Yeah, I mean, sound is crazy. I mean, Shane does an amazing job with it, and like this tool, I really want to try it myself. I think I have it, but like, it's crazy because you can basically step, like you're essentially stepping on the keyboard with your fingers, with the animation.
Yeah,
it's like
he's button mashing.
Yeah, it's such a natural workflow. It's like that's crazy.
Button mashing.
Yeah, so that's a game changer for footsteps. I think. I mean, like comparatively, like I think Shane, you just probably like. I know for me, I would probably just have fun with it and just like add 100 footsteps, like even though like not necessary. But like
my first test, like I don't know if I still have it, but like when she's first running towards a fight, I just like spam the keyboard.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I kind of want to find that one.
I think I remember that.
I want to find that.
I posted that somewhere in there. I don't know if it's still there, but
it's like somewhere in here. Hang on, I gotta find it. But yeah, that was hilarious. Actually, it was like a horse galloping. Man. Yeah, but it's just like because of that tool, you can actually have fun with it, and like we've never had that luxury before, so it's just really cool to see.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I don't know where it is.
I'll see if I can find it really quick. You can continue talking.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so wait, I found it.
Oh, you did?
I think I found it.
Yeah, it's just like a short clip.
Wait, is it this one? I'm just gonna play it and hope it's right. No way that's gonna backfire. All right. Oh, this is the old Play Blast too. Wow.
Oh, bald.
Yeah. Oh, these are all
it?
This is actually the correct one. I want to find the funnier one. But yeah, the footsteps sound great. Okay, I found it. I found it. But let's listen to this one real quick. It's a cool in progress.
What was that?
So many footsteps. So many footsteps. Oh my god.
Wait. I think I found it. The real one.
I think I found it too.
Ramen's blocking.
Yeah, Ramen's blocking.
All right.
This is such a long time ago.
Feels like a long time ago.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. And this took you like 5 seconds. Oh my god.
Yeah, you know how long that would have taken with like the traditional way? Yeah.
I know.
It's like 18 horses.
Here all week.
Yeah, it's actually like 18 horses.
But anyway.
The power of technology. My god, I love it.
Assaulted by footstep sounds, dude.
Yeah.
Nice trails, centipede version.
Oh my god, centipede.
Wait, not the movie. I haven't seen it.
Oh god, no, please. All right, but yeah, that's man, this is a lot of good stuff. I think we're pretty much at the end of our stream though. What else did you want? Do we talk about anything else? What else do we have?
Yeah, I did want to mention
finally
the voxelizing effect that was done by Late.
Yes. Let me bring that up real quick. Yeah, so that one was a GeoNodes effect.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So late actually helped with this dissolving effect here. So as they die, they go into the ether. That effect was done in geometry nodes. It was actually done specifically. Late and I were actually talking about this. Technically speaking, he was like, technically it didn't really have to be geometry nodes because it sort of happened so fast and so far away.
Yeah.
But like the way he did it, it was really cool. It actually uses the mesh and voxelizes it in real time. And if we have do you have the original playblast that he did of that, Cody? I think it's somewhere. It was like a Suzanne.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, search for it.
Yeah, it'll be in the effects channel. But yeah, that was a really cool effect that obviously saved us a lot of time getting that just automated to work for the characters. And Cody was actually getting so much done with the finaling. In terms of getting all this to work with our pipeline, which we could go into all day, to be honest. Our pipeline is kind of crazy. We have like 5 layers of library overrides or something like that.
I think I found it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, send it over. And like getting everything to work with library overrides is a whole thing. And also, you know, getting everything to render out properly is a whole thing. And Cody just killed it. One of the things that we did specifically with this is like the effects that we had to make for these shots required us to have access to like the mesh data, which you don't have with library overrides. So the characters, we couldn't dissolve them because they were, you know, technically linked in, and there was all this like limitations. But Cody had this genius idea of basically remeshing the character with geometry nodes into a new mesh, which is like such a big, I don't even know how you came up with that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that as well.
Yeah,
I think that's a very handy technique, especially for so like you basically use the object info node and collection info node to create a duplicate of the meshes of objects. And then what you can also do with that, which worked with this voxel effect is like you can use it basically as a material override by using the set material to then create a duplicate of a certain amount of objects to render out like a pass without having to actually edit their original materials, which is very finicky with library overrides.
Yeah.
So like for the voxel effect, it essentially let me get a alpha pass of the voxelization without having to touch the original materials.
Which is crazy. It completely overcame our limitations for that by essentially like pulling out the data and cloning it and making it local. Yeah, which is the whole thing. I don't even know. Yeah, let me pull up Late's voxelization effect real quick. We have a demonstration here, which you can kind of really appreciate how cool it is, because it actually uses the geometry. Look at this. I don't even know how to even do this. Like the geometry is literally turning into cubes. Like it's not even like it's not a particle system or anything.
So from what I understand from reading the geometry nodes, because I had to bring it in to the actual shots, is like it uses the bounding box and it fills it with cubes, and then like as it like wipes down, it blends the cubes that like they stick to the mesh with the proximity, and then like they blend from that to just floating up in space.
Wow.
And then the original mesh is just dissolved with an alpha channel that is done with like a Voronoi without like any randomness, so like it matches cubes. But if it was just voxelized, it's really a good technique. Like it works so well.
Yeah, it works really well. I mean, Late is a genius, so he just was like, yeah, I'm just gonna turn it into a thing, easy peasy.
Just do the thing with the ding and the nodes, and we're done.
Yeah, yeah. He might have posted it on Twitter. I wouldn't be surprised because
yeah,
he posts everything on Twitter. Yeah. Siddiq Story says, "Are you guys working on a series?" Technically, yes, we are. Yeah, but you'll learn more about it probably next year, very soon. Moving on. What else do you guys want to talk about before we end the stream? Do we miss anything? Any other topics, people, things?
Comp.
We do have comp. Ruki did all the comp.
It looked gorgeous.
It did.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Like the gradients. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really easy. Yeah, just adding gradients in places and adding a little bit of glowiness, softening things, adding some nice chromatic aberration.
Yes, chromatic aberration.
Which is when you, the start, if you go back to the start, for those who don't know what chromatic aberration is, it's just when the red, green, and blue channels, you move one of them so you have the node at the very start. But that's an example there. With here, right here, you see the text. The text goes out blue. That's because I'm moving the blue channel, inflating the blue channel.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like a hologram of the image because I'm just moving one of the channels. I'm just moving only the blue colors.
So cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
What do you normally start with when you start a comp shot? Do you play with the levels at all, or like the graphs? Or...
I'm usually looking at the I'm always working from the entirety, I'm always looking at the whole scene because I'm not going in and changing it. That's technically decided all by the shader, all the details. So I'm just in my head, it's just creating unity.
Balance.
So I might adjust the levels if the levels relative to the shot that came before it are off in some way.
Yeah, because I imagine a lot of the details and stuff like that are decided beforehand, and the colors and stuff that's ultimately where they need to be.
Yeah, first. And you can override those in comp, which is really easy. This one just happened to, it'll mix together very well because we were working on that stuff during it.
Yeah.
So it's nowhere near as intensive as most comp usually is.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the depth of field stuff, that's in Blender, that's not from comp? Or is that?
Yeah, you guys did that, I think.
Yes, that was actually a thing that we've I guess improved upon from the past, where we've learned just a method where we're essentially blurring the background based on depth of field, but the character pass is completely unblurred all the time.
Right.
Which is
only in a few shots are there characters that are blurred, if it's background characters.
Yep. Yeah, and we'll turn on the DOF, the depth of field, for those particular shots, but we'll turn it off for everything else. And that gives us a much better 2D feel. This is a mistake that we made for a long time, where we added depth of field to every pass, including the characters. And what I realized was that you can actually see it in my background. I have a background right now of Rengoku from Demon Slayer Cats 2, if I can show you guys. Hang on, OneDrive. Okay, so Rengoku, he's a 3D character, and we had depth of field to it. And what happened was certain times you could actually kind of see the character gets blurred, sort of unevenly or past a certain point, and then they spill out over the line art sometimes, and they also give away the 3D shape occasionally. And then when you have that, on a 2D character, what's supposed to be 2D, it looks bad. It looks 3D. And in 2D, nobody really blurs different parts of the body. They will blur different sections of the foreground and stuff, but they do that very intentionally, very segmentedly, because it's difficult to have a blurred gradient. And so we've basically just flattened the characters so they don't have any depth of field at all. But the backgrounds do, and that's worked out really well for us. And Cody helped out a lot with that, getting the finaling and everything set up so the renders have that built into it.
I'm gonna have to learn more. This comp is so interesting to me. That's the next thing I want to learn.
Yeah.
Who did the animated black bars during Soranin's fight? That was pretty cool.
Oh, that was me. Yeah. Yeah, I did that at the pretty close to the end of production. I was like, hey, you know what? This is a really like well choreographed like horizontal fight. There's a lot of negative space on top and bottom, and I think like if we just sort of zoomed in there, it would feel really cinematic. So I was like, I animated it so that it was kind of subtle. It was actually kind of tricky getting the animation to sort of be as seamless as possible. So I timed it, like I tried it a couple different times with different frame starts and stuff, but I timed it specifically with this close up so that it would sort of like blend in as if it was a cut, but it wasn't. But yeah, I'm glad people liked that. It was fun. Yeah, that was in Blender, by the way.
Was it just like planes?
No, it was in the VSC editor, the video sequence editor. But like, yeah, I do so much video editing in Blender now. But you can crop strips in Blender in the VSC and just like keyframe the cropping. And yeah, I also use specifically a cinematic aspect ratio. So this is like the typical cinematic aspect ratio is 1920 by 810 instead of 1080. And so just transitioning directly to that specific aspect ratio also helps. Like I wasn't just guessing. I wanted it to be very emulative of the cinematic ratio, which worked out. It works really well in terms of like the composition. Yeah, cool. All right, is that it? How are we feeling?
Yeah.
I did also want to say that one effect that we didn't mention is the glitch effect in the background, which is a really cool effect that just sort of permeates the scene. And Ruki actually worked on that, and it's a 3D effect that is like on technically a shader plane that essentially emulates the glitch effect that After Effects does, but through math or something.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. So it's kind of crazy.
It's just it's like a After Effects distortion. What's the word when it mixes between the animation?
Interpolation. Smart.
No. Sorry, but yes, it's the thing that I forgot the word of.
It's like a mask or like a.
No, it's specific to there's a specific word for it.
Maths.
It's just maths.
No.
Maths.
1, 2, 3, quick math.
Transition. Sorry, transition.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
It's
transition effects.
So After Effects has tons of transitions. It's just I've taken the maths for a transition and put it in there.
That's insane. I don't understand. All I know is that there was this really, really big node group, and I was like, this is magic.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it in detail. You'll go insane.
I was like, this is literally, I don't even understand. And then like it gives a lot of control, and then we were able to glitch between two images. And
crazy.
Yes.
That was really cool.
And both those images were made, well, one, it has the main image, which is made with Stable Diffusion, and I think the other one is also Stable Diffusion, or it is the same image that I edited the colors of. I can't remember.
I think they were both separately generated. It was image to image.
Okay, they were both separately generated in Stable Diffusion.
Yeah, and then we edited the colors.
But based on the same image.
Yeah, exactly. So
which was one I generated in Stable Diffusion.
Yeah, which is the cool thing about that is you get this portal into another world because it's sort of like
that sort of effect.
It's a different version of the same place, and that was kind of what we wanted to have. Like, oh, whoa, what is that?
Which is super hard to explain because you start talking about latent space and all the crazy stuff. So
yeah.
Basically, it's a place where if you render an image at that place, it'll be consistent no matter how you describe it.
Yes.
So I can ask it to give me a blue city, and then I can ask it, if I lock that's the seed value for it, ask it to give me a green city. It will be the same city but green.
Yeah, just crazy. But also slightly different.
I did want to ask. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna ask Cody how he did the effects with like that chopping people.
True, right here when you broke people into different pieces and was like, hey,
yeah, because there's like 8 rigs in that scene. I don't know how you did anything with that.
True.
It's just grease pencil on top of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they're all visible for like 4 or like 5 frames each, so it's not too bad to just do it frame by frame.
True.
Gotcha. I thought you were like welding them together somehow.
Oh
No.
my god. Yeah, that's an interesting point though. It's like because Ramen, when you animated this, like this guy right here is technically 2 rigs, right?
Yes.
Well, 3.
Yeah, 3. 1 when they're whole, then I shaved off the upper half, then the lower half.
Right.
On, like between 1 frame.
Wow. So when you animated them, did the models themselves already have the top half missing for this one and like the bottom half missing for that one, or did they both look like full characters?
The first part. So like top half missing, bottom half missing. Okay. I had like 1 full, then I just duplicated the action and slapped it on, then onto 2 characters. Then I just hid the top torso and the bottom torso.
Yeah.
Wow. That works with the low poly ones because they were segmented.
Right.
But once it went to the robot, we had that issue. We had to split them.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I was wondering. Because, like, I forgot you were working with the proxy assets, so it was easy because all the bodies were separated with their parts. But, like, yeah, when Cody was doing it, they were probably technically full rigs, weren't they?
Yeah. So, like, you would, I think, like, you had it to where, like, you put, like, the top half of the one that you didn't want to see, like you would move it off screen,
right?
And so like with the proxy it worked, but then with the full robot it was just the character was stretching across.
Yeah.
So then I believe Soranin split them up.
Yeah,
you like cut them in 2 or something with a mask.
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
I was so curious. I was like, because I submitted the shot. I'm like, I don't know how they're going to do this. And then I just saw the first. I was like, oh yeah, they did it.
Yep. Yeah, it worked out really well. Man, that's cool. Cool. All right. How are we feeling?
Someone TV 16-bit asks about the dust and the hit sparks if they're done in your Blender.
Yes.
They were done in Blender. The dust was just cards placed into 3D space.
Yeah, the pre-animated.
And so it was just cards pre-animated, alpha, 2D dust, and the hit sparks was just a procedural noise with like a gradient wiping across it so that it looked like sparks moving out.
Yeah, the hit sparks look really good for procedural, especially. Yeah. All right, well, I think that's about it. We have basically gone over everything. So there is probably a couple things that we missed, and I definitely think we could talk about this all day. And obviously, shout out to everybody who wasn't here who also worked on it. They did an amazing job as well. But give a big round of applause to the team, everybody. Yay! I'm the only one who can clap right now, but yay! Yeah. No,
it's me hands.
Yes. Hey, Blazingo subscribed. That's a great applause. Thank you. Yeah, honestly, I think the team did an amazing job. There's an applause. Thanks, Gachapod. Appreciate it. This is by far one of the prettiest projects we've ever made to date. We have a bunch of others in the works right now that I think also have that potential. But like it's a huge testament to everything that we've learned in the past year or so of just developing pipelines, workflows, testing stuff, learning things, and like how far we've come since, the last animation, which was technically Demon Slayer Cats 2, is kind of crazy if you think about it. And we've come a long way. Cyberkatsu 2 was last year as well. That's from I would say like that was a pretty big project for sure. I mean, we took 8 months on that one, but this is already a big leap in terms of like the aesthetic and quality, and also just I think the pipeline as well. So yeah, we've improved a lot. I'm excited for what's to come. If you guys want to watch more, make sure to like and subscribe. All right. I got it. I got it in there. Yeah, get the bell icon. Go to meshtrails.com, support the team. It's on sale right now. But yeah, that's basically it. you guys have any last closing words? And then if not, we're gonna end the stream today.
We love all of you. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for the support.
Yes.
Splashy.
What? Hey, we're gonna clap.
Mouth bag.
No, don't say mouth bag.
Frog-eyed mouth bag.
No.
Oh God! All right, bye guys. Everybody, have fun. Now, keep that image in your mind. All right, I'll see you guys later. Hey, bye.
I'm fired. Remember me.
Thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. All right.